Hey, how
Hey,
are
you
you?
guys. I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
I'm all right.
Good.
It's Is this a new location or just setting up a table?
Oh, I just had to set up the table and
I
everything.
need
I
to
was
flip
all
over the trash
upstairs.
can. Whoa, what was that?
Who is that?
That is me,
That you?
John.
Ooh, might be me.
Sounds like
on-
it's
I'm gonna rejoin.
I'm on my
definitely John. It's whenever John
That's great.
talks.
I know.
So apparently John is the devil.
I'll be back.
All right.
Wait, did you hear that?
You're what?
So now do I sound normal? No.
No. You do, and then there's a
You
That's
sound
great.
perfectly normal, my Dark Lord.
right.
Yeah, that demonic echo is the
Yeah, I started rewatching Lord of the Rings again because the show's coming out eventually.
Yeah, do they have any do we have a date for that?
I think it's like September.
Okay,
Hello?
so
Hey, John.
Do I sound normal? No.
Nope. You
Yeah,
do, and then in the background, it repeats everything you say.
Oh. Okay, hold on a second.
echoing through
Ah.
how?
How about now?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I didn't hear it that time.
Interesting. Yeah, Hal was trying to bust into my. He's an early model. They haven't ironed out all the kinks yet. Test. Okay, good. Testing the levels. I probably should have picked a shorter name. General Zod. No. Not tonight.
No?
I hope not.
How about
Oh, actually, we have a lot
I
of
guess
guns.
there was
We have a
that
lot of
German
lightning
guy
guns.
that got on the that very military-looking German
Right,
guy did get
exactly.
on the train.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, as my cats fight in the background.
Oh my goodness.
Kneel before Zod.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh.
How about that? I just
Emperor of the Sudan. Come on, guys. Sorry,
about no?
When the small one gets pinned, he gets upset, and then he starts
And what-
screaming.
was there like in the background? Okay, we couldn't hear that, or at least I couldn't hear that.
Okay. Yeah, he gets pinned because he's smaller, and then you'll break them up, and then they'll kind of separate, and then he'll just lunge for the larger one again.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's the instigator of most of it.
Well, the Pomeranian was on the floor a few minutes ago, and Lucy was up on the sofa, and she had jumped up when he was up there, and he went like that. He's all grumpy, and so Amy had put him on the floor for a little bit, and he just starts jumping up like this on the floor, like, come on, I dare you, until Lucy came down, and then he jumps up on her a little bit and then rubs his butt in her face. He's like, come on,
He doesn't like
wrestle
that.
with me. Except then he doesn't like that so much. Just like grabs him by the leg and holds on. Though they do have a good chase usually.
Is that different than a chase?
Well, everything has to be doubled because it's doggies. So there's chase, wrestle.
Whoopee.
hmm
Gotcha.
Everything has to have a good doggy name. She goes outside. She plays The Hills Are Alive when we're out walking. Yeah, she
The
goes,
hills have eyes.
exactly. Well, that too, if you're a groundhog
Uh,
or,
damn.
a bird or a squirrel or something like that. She's just
Right.
come out of nowhere on you. Except for the geese and the crows, they're just like, oh man, here she comes again. Flap, flap, and they fly like as close as possible as they could do, and then she's still coming after them, and they're like, oh man, I gotta go find somewhere else to land. It's very funny. You can see it on their faces. Here we go. All right, I was just gonna say, technically we have quorum, just barely, but now we have actual proper quorum. So
Excellent.
And Jacob's just in the bathroom. He will be here.
okay.
Dropping the kids off,
I think so.
having a brown baby.
I've never heard that one before.
That's from South Park.
Tim was the first one who's
Candy
only
apple
dropping the kids
splatters.
off at the pool.
Yeah. So I think it's the first episode, the anal probe one, where he's got diarrhea or something.
Oh, it's terrible.
That's South Park.
Did Butcher keep his given name?
His Christian name,
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
the
the Butcher.
the Butcher. Exactly.
The middle name, Vicious.
Exactly. Named after Saint the. It's Coptic saint. That's why it's not so.
I don't know
commonly
what
known.
his which Butcher. I mean, not which Butcher. Never mind. I was thinking which Malcolm. Because he's Malcolm, right?
Right.
Malcolm.
Malcolm is Malcolm.
Yeah.
But Malcolm is going as Jonathan Quayle Higgins III.
Right. That was great. I gotta start saying dynamite.
Which dynamite?
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Jake?
Hey,
Jacob is still connecting to audio.
yeah, I think it's probably needs his confirmation to actually finalize.
That came out great. That like electronically stuck. So it says needs his permission to finalize.
Perfect.
Exactly. So let's see, who is Howard? Howard Stitch is Howard Taylor.
There she is.
Okay.
Dave's gonna be late. I don't know if
Okay.
you saw that.
No, I did not. Something had buzzed in my pocket.
That was it.
Unavoidably delayed. All right. No worries.
Just let him know he gets pushed off the back of the train when he goes out for a pipe.
Can happen. That is the one thing I wanted to look up while we have just a moment.
How fast does the train need to go before you die when you're getting pushed off the train?
Well, if it runs over you,
Yeah,
I
I guess
mean,
it depends
well,
on which side.
I was thinking the back, not the front. But
in between cars.
always thinking like a butcher. I want to
You ever see that Kirshner skit about I Am the Machine
Yeah.
on the Russian train? We go to Moscow. Hanging out with the banditti.
I am not familiar.
I'll find it and I'll let you watch on your own time.
My leisure.
Yes.
Okay, so according to Wikipedia, the order of the coaches is after the engine, it's baggage car, sleeping coach, restaurant coach, sleeping coach, baggage car. We can,
Can you put that link in the? Chat?
yeah, it's called Wikipedia. It's pretty rare. I know.
I don't know what
it's
you're
hard to
looking for
find.
though.
Orient Express,
Oh, okay.
like literally.
How do you spell that? Is that 5Ks?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the only difference is that we are substituting the final baggage car for a salon car.
Settle.
Yep. And also we're reducing the number of beds. So, but there you go. That's the answer.
Let's see.
Here's Butcher's link.
The machine.
If it'll open. It doesn't open for me. Was ist los? Was ist mit diese Dinge hier?
This dude. I've seen this guy. Forgot about him. I'll have to watch that later.
Yep.
Find this stupid dice roller. So weird.
What is?
I was playing around with DuckDuckGo for a while, and I switched back to Google. And when I type in teal space dice in my, in the address bar, it brings up a DuckDuckGo search page. But if I put a space after it, it brings up a Google search. So it must be a saved specific DuckDuckGo search. Which I didn't think it did that. Which is weird. I don't know.
Okay. So when last we left our intrepid investigators, they had been riding the Orient Express for over a day. They had left Gay Paris on Sunday evening at 6:25, and that's on August 9th. And by 2 a.m., they were in Strasbourg, and then proceeded on through Germany. The next morning at 11 a.m., they were leaving Munich on their way to Salzburg. And many people had gotten on and off of the train. So several had come to your attention. Most of you traveling under assumed names in various compartments in the first car of the train. But in any case, you are on your way to Salzburg. Brian, I believe we had to have a quick side session, right? And we had Henri at the bar.
Yeah, being
He was-
asked the Armenian question, right?
Right. He's being asked the Armenian question by Eileen. And Menkaf was talking to Bentley Burnham. And he was approached by Brian and pretty much shooed away. And I believe, your next stop, I believe, is Salzburg at 12:46, which should be your first stop in Österreich, and then it is on to your 2 stops in Vienna, and then Budapest tonight at 11. Still in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, I believe, because that's Hungary. Let me just a moment here. In 1891. Here we go. Okay. All right. So what is everybody up to on this fine August morning prior to World War I? So it's not the Guns of August yet.
So I think as we left, Jean-Claude and Spencer had left the bar car so that Brian could talk to Burnham and Menkaf without
Right.
having them there.
Right. And Henri was left alone with Eileen.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you refresh my memory as to who's around the bar area where that
Right now around the bar is just you and Eileen, the Scottish
yeah, she kind of
reporter.
butted in, right? She kinda
Yep,
blocked-
she came and she butted in, correct.
And who had been there again? Like,
With
it's-
you,
yeah,
Brian and Jean-Claude and
And Spencer.
Spencer. Yep.
and they're leaving to follow.
gone. Yep.
And who had been in there that was not them, aside from Eileen?
In the car, nondescript people in nice clothes.
I thought there was somebody that
There's Menkaf, who's the guy with the hump,
Correct.
oh, the guy,
and
the
the
guy with
other reporter they're
Yes.
still in there.
they are
And yeah,
Correct.
they're at a table.
okay. And I was gonna sort of try and that's right. I was gonna stay there and sort of try to eavesdrop or whatever, right? And then she
Yeah.
came in and sort of
Yeah,
butted
Miss
in.
McGregor comes in to talk to you. Yep.
So when she does that, did that seem like she really wanted to talk to me, or she was kind of coming up with an excuse to sort of block my ability to like? Was she?
Make a roll.
Yeah. Seven. Let me see
7?
it.
Oh,
Guess-
it seems like she's just very she's like a pit bull, once she gets her teeth in something.
right.
but she had asked you the Armenian question and what your opinion of it was, and you were like, the what now?
Right. Well, just it's a very complex situation. Why do you care what I think?
And she looks at you and she says, and she looks around from one side to the other, and the bartender is busying himself at the other end of the bar. And she says, well, Monsieur Marcel, as a noted armaments manufacturer, I'm sure that you'd have some interest in peddling your wares in that area of the world. Perhaps for once, you could be peddling them to people who could be making use of them for some good, to be defending themselves against the imperialist powers that are trying to commit genocide.
So she knows my name.
Yep.
And she's saying this in French.
That's
That's how we left it. We were communicating in French.
You were speaking in French? Okay, yep, because her French was easier for you to understand than her
Yeah.
Scottish. Skinglish.
And I say, I'm sorry, have we met?
No.
I'm not like a noteworthy person, right? I mean,
No, but you're very wealthy. And you've been seen in society.
and I don't recognize her.
Nope.
So was Henri? He wasn't the owner of the factory, was he? He was.
was.
Henri,
I
he was
was
the original
originally.
owner, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was bought by Norman.
Yep.
Yeah, he kind of bailed me out.
Right,
and
which
kind of
would be a
partnered
thing
up.
of public record. And considering it's right across from a Ecole Polytechnique, it's not exactly like it's in hiding. It's not like the secret bunker. And it just blew up.
I'll say, well, Ms. McGregor, what brings you aboard the train? The Orient Express.
I'm a reporter for the Ladies Evening Herald of Edinburgh. I'm on my way to the filthy Ottoman heathen empire.
Why would the ladies of Edinburgh care what happens there?
It's a good Christian women's herald. I know that you're a Catholic. It's not exactly Christian, but it's something close to it. I would expect you to have similar interests in your fellow Christians if you so proclaim yourself to be.
Well, I didn't say I didn't. I just said it was a complex situation.
I think your husband just wants you out of town.
No wedding ring. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of feisty. Not bad.
Yeah, that does tend to appeal in Scotland.
Well, I'm afraid you've caught me at a disadvantage here. I'm not really ready to comment publicly on the Armenian question. So
Does that mean you're taking the side of the filthy heathen Turk? That you're defending him? Is that what you're saying? Our readers want to know.
All I'm saying is they pay better.
When did you board the Orient Express?
Her?
What-
I think she got on in Paris.
Is that what she says?
No, I'm trying to remember. That's what Randall says. Yes. In Paris.
How long were you in Paris before that?
I was looking for a story. I was interviewing several of the upper crust, those who would have me, in Paris. I was there for a week or two. Why do you ask? Why are you so interested in the movements of a single lady? Find your questions impertinent. Hardly appropriate to a gentleman.
So you
And by
then have
all accounts in
some ideas
society,
why
you
I'm
are a gentleman.
So then you do have some ideas why I'm on this train. If you've been in Paris for the last few weeks.
Well, I'm well aware of your financial loss, which I would expect would be something that would be totally expected in a profession such as yours.
Expected but not preferred. So I have some things on my mind that I'd like to deal with. By the way, do you know who where were you staying when you were in Paris?
I cannot believe you're asking a lady that question.
What'd you wear while you were there?
Exactly. You wearing a pink petticoat?
How often do you bathe?
Let's see your ankles.
So, well, I might be prepared to answer some of your questions if you could tell me a little bit about the Count and Countess, what their business aboard the train might be. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, I have no idea. Nor would I be caring. They're just another couple part of the Sybaritic class that's aiming for the downfall of civilization.
Your accent is flawless, right? It is.
In French, yeah.
Where did you, a lady
I was
from Edinburgh?
schooled by a private tutor. My father was the Reverend McGregor.
Do I know who that is?
No. Some Protestant.
Where were you schooled?
I was privately tutored in Edinburgh like any proper lady. And then I went to the ladies' seminary in, well, we'll say in Edinburgh, because I would say Glasgow, but I doubt it.
So shouldn't she be married if she's a proper lady?
Do you say that to her?
I'm asking, actually. You be like,
You would typically think by her age, she's in her 20s. But who knows what the modern generation does now? They learn to do things like use those typewriting machines and things like that.
Talking on the telephone all the time.
Exactly.
So I say you were privately tutored, and
I'm putting my
yet
skills
you're not
to good
attached.
use.
That's so surprising.
I have not found a gentleman suitable.
What sort of?
Although I must say, I have had multiple offers.
I start laughing.
How high is that dowry?
All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to ask her that she would be. I say, okay, well, maybe tomorrow we can. What time of day is it? 11 a.m. or something?
11 a.m.
Do I want to lock myself in for dinner? Nah. I'll say, it's been very enjoyable speaking with you, but maybe later on we can have a drink. I don't know, whatever the most gentlemanly way of putting that forward. I'm not trying to hit on her.
I mean,
So, no,
Netflix
I had
and chill. I don't know.
Right. Maybe later you could meet me in my compartment.
No,
my
like in the salon car
roommates
or
out
something.
at dinner.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for a martini or 4.
And
speaking of which, I gotta go get me a glass of bourbon.
All right, so I'm just gonna try to politely back out of the conversation and ask if she wants to meet later for a drink, and maybe we can discuss the Armenian question in more detail at that point.
This evening
Sure.
at the 7 p.m. seating, then I'll be taking it to you.
Sure.
Very well, then I shall expect you to call upon my compartment. I am in compartment 1. What is she in? Like, I don't know, 1C. Let's say, I don't know what that.
Okay. So,
I shall see you presently.
That sounds good. and I'll say my goodbyes, but I'm not moving.
Very well then. And she goes over to a table and she sits down and begins writing again.
So, you know how I'm like an artist?
Mm-hmm.
S-
I do
did-
nude sculptures.
Was it sculptures or
I thought it was sculptures you did. You had said sculptures, but it can be sketches.
Let's say I'm sketching.
There was a reason why you wanted it.
Yeah, it helped with psychology.
Oh, well, then sketching makes sense.
Yeah, it's anything where you have to like study something and kind of like right, like either one kind of made sense. So I'm gonna have my book out.
Okay.
This is something I kind of want to retcon a little bit that I've been
Okay.
using. I mean, carry around a little sketch pad and I just do little sketches.
All right.
And I'm gonna be sketching this guy at the table and sketching Lane. And I'm trying to get like
Which one, Burnham or Mencalf or both of them?
I'll start with the Fez guy.
Okay, Mencalf. So make a roll for each of them to see what kind of a likeness you get.
A 5.
Okay.
And then what's the other guy? Burnham.
Burnham.
Bentley Burnham. A 9.
9. All right.
And her
So-
too.
Here's your sketch of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One's got more detail though.
Yeah,
I'm looking
Burnham's not as good. You can't quite capture his essence. But Mencalf, you have stolen his soul.
Okay.
Not quite. But you have a pretty good. Hey, Malcolm.
Hello.
So who are we missing? Dave's late. Chuck's
Dave
not
and Chuck.
coming. Right, that's it.
Is Chuck a definite not coming?
That's what it sounded like from the text.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I do. I'll grab, get a drink and maybe some sandwiches or something. I don't know, whatever they serve in a bar at 11 a.m. on the Orient Express.
All right.
And if I can hear anything, maybe jot that down too. Like interesting.
Yeah, Burnham and Mencalf are speaking quietly.
Hushed. Yeah.
Yeah, hushed. All right. Anybody else? What are ye up to?
I figure Spencer and I will take our drinks and we'll walk the cars,
Okay.
and I'll take special care to kind of listen in on when we pass the sick guys compartment, see if I hear anything going on in there.
Okay. Make a roll.
I got an 11,
Nope.
so I just hear train.
Yep.
Does Spencer hear anything?
You trip and spill your drink all over the back of
Let's
Spencer's head.
see. Well, you can roll for Spencer. Screw it. I don't feel like taking my dice up till it is time for bloodshed.
Wait,
Spencer got an
what?
8.
An 8. No, he does not hear anything either.
Okay. And we'll just continue to we'll walk up and then back.
One up and back again. Okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, I'm going to presume you're staying in your rooms.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna just get some sleep because I've been up since 3
Okay. Very well.
because of the night shift thing.
Is anybody intending to get lunch in the dining car?
Jean-Claude will
Sure.
Okay.
see
Okay.
what people's see how people react.
Okay.
Who's guarding the guns? Are we doing shifts on those?
They're in
Are they on our
Butcher's room.
crates? Yeah. Are we leaving them alone, or are we going to set up a watch for them? I kind of feel like we should, but I don't know.
So far, that has not happened, that anyone has particularly always stayed with them.
Does anybody-
However, also the train has crossed the German border now twice and has not been stopped for any kind of border control.
We can
Would that
buy
be-
food to them.
Would we know if that's weird?
Well, so I did some research on that, and apparently, except for Russia, and on rare occasions for like England, passports didn't exist until after World War One. So, and border controls almost completely didn't exist, with some exceptions. And there's a really interesting photograph of the German-French border, and this is from like 1883 or something like that. So it's not all that long after the Franco-Prussian War, and the border consists of a road sign on the side of the road. It's literally it's like a pole with a round sign on it, that says like, now entering Germany, and it's just an open gravel road in the middle of a whole bunch of fields. There's no fence, there's no post, there's no guardhouse, and they just happen to take a picture of some cops standing around the pole. Some are French, some are German. They're all just hanging out. They're talking, like smoking cigarettes. They're like, hey, whatever, whatever. It's like clearly they don't do anything.
Right. Is that? I mean, I would imagine they would, in times of war, there would be troops bivouac there without a permanent.
Exactly.
And
if you're
there's your import stuff is mostly at the ports,
right,
where your
right.
harbor master handles all that stuff.
Right, and like trains will declare something, and if the train doesn't have anywhere to stop until it gets to the other country, then it'll be like bills of lading and stuff like that. Like it's not stuff that
Right.
you guys will see. There are some exceptions to that, but more if that becomes, appropriate. And typically, of course, it would be that, like you were saying, when there's tensions between two countries, that's when they'll be. But then it's very straightforward. It's just like there's soldiers there.
Exactly. It's like the 4th Division. It's not,
right.
Some bureaucrats. There's very little bureaucracy just yet. So
exactly,
until the early 1900s.
Yep, just before then.
If you read a lot of Camus, you'll see it all develop.
Like Riley, Ace of Spies. That's how he could just tootle around, and that's how people can just say that I am the Count of Monte Cristo or whatever like that, and people go, "Oh, okay,"
Right, and
nice,
then the more
you have
important
nice
people
clothes.
won't accept if you're trying to do anything official unless you have a letter.
Right. And that they'd have to
you
know
need the
you.
letter of introductions and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. Half the really important people are related all to each other somehow.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a whole different world. In fact, I was reading an article. It was talking about people who had been born before World War One, like the end of the 1800s, and they were talking to people in the interwar period, I think it was, and they were the interwar people, so like the 1930s-ish people, were stunned. Like they couldn't grasp a world where you just wandered around without documentation, where you didn't have a passport, where you wanted to go somewhere, so you just went there. Like they couldn't imagine. So it's like it came on that fast. So, and then of course, we're born, 30 years after that, and 30, 40 years, and that's it.
Now you get a social security number when you're born. I didn't have one until I was 16.
That's because you were an illegal, right?
Yeah.
He had to kill the person to get the number from them.
Yeah, me too. It's my neighbor.
You don't have to kill them. Just search the records.
No, you have to make sure they can't come back
I
and
thought you had
claim.
to kill them in like 3 generations.
But that's what you go to a graveyard for, and then you wander around. Yeah.
Just scratch off the name on the
Right, exactly.
gravestone, put yours on there, and you're good.
My goodness gracious. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The world has
All right,
changed significantly.
we do put a rotation in on the guns.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So these are taking up half of Butcher's compartments. The it's two crates, right? I believe.
Right.
Because
Right.
your regular firearms you have in the baggage car. So these are the lightning rifles and the big mega death thing that you don't know
Right.
what it does yet.
I mean,
That's
when
3
he's-
crates though.
when Butcher's not there, can we just have Callum with like a whistle? That if somebody comes in, just blow the whistle real loud.
Fair enough. Is that
Some-
3 crates, John? Is that what we decided?
I think so.
Because it's 5 and 5 for the rifles and then 1 for the big gun,
Um,
right? Because normally it would be 10 rifles to a case, but you guys have half of it full of scientific equipment, right?
so I had crate 1 filled with 4 guns and a bunch of science shit, and then crate 2, the other 4 guns, like on a false bottom, which bunch of
Yeah, yeah,
science
yeah.
stuff. And then I have written down that like the elephant rifles and all that stuff's just like in gun cases and with
The
with
normal
us.
baggage, yeah, in the fourgon.
I don't know. And then the smuggled items, and I wasn't sure if that's like a 3rd crate or where that is the shoulder gun and his bag of Butcher's bag of gun parts.
Yeah, so that's 3.
It's like a giant sack of like old Colts or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
so that's
know-
3 crates that are. So there's 3 crates up in a bunk with Butcher.
Okay, so all right, yeah.
Okay. So you were saying, Malcolm, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was saying that we do institute the rotation.
Okay, so
Somebody should be there. Mostly
So-
Callum, since he's not getting around so good still.
right. So now it's hard for Callum if a whole bunk is taken up by crates. Where is Callum staying? There's really only one person staying in this room at a time.
Right.
So somebody's got to be up and wandering around, sitting in the salon car, falling asleep in a chair, that kind of a thing.
Wait, we
So
have
is there a
more
place to
people than
sit?
bunks? I thought we were
Uh,
we were an odd number party, right?
Let me check. So we
I
have.
think we were, but I think that one of the bunks was taken up by the
So we get a special room
boxes.
for
Right.
this too,
So if
right?
we're odd number and the guns, are the guns in all the bunks? Is what you're saying?
There's 2 bunks per room, right?
Right.
I think
So we have Spencer and Fu, Jean-Claude and Nigel, Butcher and the Guns, Henri and Callum, Howard and Lloyd, Malcolm and Brian. So if you want somebody in there with the guns, like Butcher leaves, takes somebody else's place
Right.
while
that's
that
what I
person
mean.
goes in. Yeah.
So somebody could be in there just by themselves, sitting down and reading, or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, Callum can't really walk around. You could just put Callum in there.
Is he really still
Right.
that messed up? I didn't think he was that messed up.
So Callum got blown up, and blown up as bad
He got
as
blown up good.
yeah, and he got blown up as bad as Norman got, frozen, and rib damaged.
Okay.
That happened to him on
Oh, that's right.
like
okay.
7 days ago. I mean, it's only
I
shoot,
see he's
I mean,
hopping
it's
around
only
with a
the
cane
10th.
or something and bandaged, but he's not like
You have to inject him with that stuff that we used to get your finger back, Henry.
I'm a fan. I mean, we could try that.
And then he'll just have
Yeah.
fingers coming out of everywhere.
Well, maybe that's what maybe it's a finger juice.
So yeah,
Just
he got
happened to be
damaged on the
missing
3rd
one.
or the 4th.
How is my finger looking? Like
2
2-year-olds?
Yeah. So let's say, how many days has it been now? Let's
I don't
see.
know.
One.
11 o'clock.
I guess you need to
Madam
figure out how
Ava.
many days
It's
it's
been
going to be
about
until I get a full
48
one back,
hours.
and then
So
figure out what that looks like.
yeah, it's maybe 2/3 of the length of a regular finger now.
So I'm gonna be like drawing that.
I mean, if you stare at it, I mean, you're gonna do that in the bar.
No, no. That's what I should have been like. Yo, check this out, lady. Whee!
If you stare at it, you can almost
like-
watch it grow.
Does the fingernail grow in proportion with the finger, or is it growing like a normal fingernail? So he's got a little finger and then a huge
Fingernail
nail
that sticks out.
coming
No,
out.
it grows
That's
in
an interesting
proportion.
question. Yeah.
It grows in proportion.
Because that's like waste.
Because otherwise
isn't
it would just be
or something?
weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because this isn't weird. but-
Because that's not weird at all. No, I mean there's precedent. It was in Deadpool.
It's like every 5 minutes, Henri has to go to the bathroom to clip his nail.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, right. I
He
didn't
does it in
why-
public.
well,
He
see what you're
goes like
saying now.
this, and it shoots across the car. Because it was
Why
getting
would you
longer
stop at
as
the
he
nail?
clipped
Like,
it.
why wouldn't the bones grow at the same rate as the nail, but slower than the skin and the capillaries? And like,
That's an
it's
excellent
probably
question.
it's probably
This
a
is
one.
fiction, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
This is like saying, why is Superman invulnerable?
normally things don't grow back at all.
It's
Right.
really not like that at all.
It kind of is. It's the
No.
same idea. It's like fake science, It's like what
Well,
there are no-
my game is fringe science. I'll put it that way.
that
That's
was
how
a
I
good-
get it.
That was a good show.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, I
that
stopped
was-
watching that. I should rewatch that. That was good.
So
That black dude's in Bosch. Love
Yeah,
him.
he's in a lot of stuff.
He's awesome. I don't know
He's
his
so
name.
good.
Yeah.
Danielle loves him. Danielle rewatched the whole thing of Fringe.
Bosch. He's like so menacing. He just like looks at you and he's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. You should
Was he in,
apologize.
Was he in The Wire too? Or
Maybe I never saw that either.
I think he
Oh,
might have
yeah,
been.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember the
Yeah.
guy from Fringe.
What's
oh, the guy, he was just badass.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to say any words. Like, he could just walk around and look.
Right.
at
He
you
just
like,
has that look. He just looks at you. He plays a captain in Bosch. I don't know if you've ever seen that. He's
No,
he's
what-
so good in it. He's
Yeah,
so,
he was
Gosh.
Cedric Daniels in The Wire.
just a
He was
cop show.
That was Captain. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Lance Reddick. Yeah,
Yeah, I love him.
he's great.
Is Bosch on now,
Oh,
or
yep,
was
we
it
can
on?
hear
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime.
Yeah, Brian, we could barely hear that. Tim. I hear you smacking something. That would explain why you've been quiet this whole time.
He didn't smack something. That was the ninja, the dragon ninja, who just came up behind him and just. That was
He's-
his body falling.
He's in Dillith Lean or whatever. in real life.
Exactly.
See, written on the wall, help me, I'm in Dillith Lean.
It could happen at any time
Tim, you could try your phone, maybe. I don't know. Just as an option.
from Dillith Lean. I don't know if they have cell service there.
I don't
You're
know.
definitely on roaming if you are.
Exactly. Roaming charges will apply. When you run out of credits, a tentacle comes out of your phone, just grabs you by the head, sucks you into the phone.
I knew I should have gotten a better plan.
Exactly. All your messages have to be, oh wow, Tim's signing in again.
Second, yeah, okay, that's a good idea. So he can hear us.
We can barely hear you.
Say something. You got to mute one. Mute one of them.
Yeah,
You're definitely Dillith Lean, dude.
And how about now?
It had a pretty good.
Yeah,
beat
I can
for a
hear. Yes.
while.
All right.
your headset gone.
Whatever, yeah, just the microphone. I could hear you guys fine, but the mic, I guess, is not working properly. So
Ah, that sucks. Okay. So who's the rotation now in the room? Are we just going to presume Callum, unless otherwise noted?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
can
think that
still
makes
pull a
sense.
trigger, right? Like, I mean, he's
Oh,
not.
absolutely.
So he's not defenseless by any means.
So, but he's just nearing the end of week 1 of a 4 to 6 week healing period.
Or he can swap out with Dr. Fu, or we'll take care. I'll go in. I mean, I'm just messing around here, and then I can go back and
Okay, so I guess the big question is, as you guys get to Salzburg, other than going to the dining car, which is Jean-Claude and who else would like to go with him?
For lunch, you were saying?
Yeah, for lunch.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Boyd and Jean Renault. Why don't
I'll
we
go.
say?
I
You'll
mean,
go?
yeah.
I thought you were
yeah.
going to sit with the guns.
Oh, oh, well, I could do that now. Sure. I was going to do that later.
Doesn't
but
matter.
I thought Callum was doing it for. Are we doing
Callum
like
can be
2-hour
doing it.
shifts?
Sure. Wherever you want.
Yeah,
let's
let's
do
do
like-
12, let's do 12-hour shifts, and Callum will take the first one.
Right.
Fine.
12-hour shifts. He just has to make sure he keeps the campfire lit and blow the horn if there's, he sees anything.
I mean, we can check in periodically, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do 2 hours, and I'll skip lunch and I'll hang outside, like kind of in my room, and then like out in the hallway. a little
Periodically
bit.
out in the hall.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
So
All
like
right.
every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'll just pop out.
All right. So who is at lunch then? Is Henri, Boyd, and Jean Renault. Okay. So as you guys sit down to your repast, you see the Count and Countess enter. The Count, I can't remember their names. It's Aileen McGregor.
Rudolph.
Yeah, Count Rudolph Razumovsky and Countess Irina Razumovsky and Piotr Truboskoy. Okay. So the Countess,
Right.
Count and Countess come in. Piotr is not there. The Countess is hanging on the Count's every word. She's dangling off his arm as the like the beautiful bauble that she is. Let's see who else is there, and they are accompanied by their. No, they would not be accompanied. They would not be accompanied by their servants. Their servants would have to eat separately. Also at lunchtime, you see that German gentleman in the Prussian uniform.
He's military, right?
Military, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks like possibly a retired, either active or, late active or early retired officer.
He got on in
Munich.
Munich.
And then let's see who else would show up. Let's see, they were still in the salon car. Trying to think who else is on the train. Who might be eating a repast now, who hasn't been spending their time snacking in the salon car. You also see the young woman and her husband.
Hunchback.
No,
Ew, the
that
sick
is not
guy.
her husband, the sick guy.
How does he look?
He is tall, thin, pale, gaunt, in fact. He is somewhat hunched. He's as tall pretty much as like Howard. And he moves painfully. He leans on a cane as well as on his wife, but he looks, I don't know, maybe 30, but it's like 30 going on 65. He's partially hunched. He's wearing a suit and tie, but he actually has a shawl thrown over his shoulders.
Oof, that's emasculating.
Yeah, and it's August.
Pretty sure
Now
you
you
can
are-
take him, Josh.
I could wear a shawl.
What's that?
I don't
Howard?
know. He might still kill me with that cane.
I think you can take him.
All right, go ahead, Jean-Claude, make your roll.
Whiff.
12. You know,
You shoot yourself in the face by accident.
I pull out my special brass named belaying pin
Oh,
and I
right.
beat him
No,
in the
yeah.
back of the head from behind with complete surprise. 12.
And the
That's-
pin goes flying out the window of the
You,
train.
you
Right
go,
off the
you
bridge.
go yourself through the window of
Right.
the train.
You're still attached to it.
It's like every game that's Josh's luck.
Yeah.
It's like my boss, David, every single game, his wife ends up shooting him. Every single game.
That's not an accident, by the way.
Yeah, he has wondered about that.
Jen and I were just talking about the time she played in the Ravenloft game. And
Yeah.
Because I was watching with the Wheel of Time, and her character's name was Avianda, which was one of the
Mhm.
women from the. She's like, I don't remember that. She didn't remember from the game or the show or from the books.
Oh wow.
Like, it's Avianda. She was Yale, badass. She was running around, whatever. And then you killed me at the end. She goes, yeah, I didn't even fucking like that game. It's so dumb. You guys are a bunch of dorks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, hun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But she was she was the last one living in that. Remember? I don't know if you
I
remember
don't.
that, but
I don't think
it was
so.
like
I don't think I wasn't running that one, was I?
No, Chuck was. It was
Chuck.
in his
Chuck,
basement.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were like the last two, and then she ends up like shooting me with an arrow or something, and I die or something, and then she like leaves, and she's like whatever. She just didn't care at all.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you're Aviana from the Ale Waste. You're like, of the spears, blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure she was like, yeah, whatever.
She's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, yeah, sounds similar to that. Shooting her husband.
So anyway, and they come in and they sit down at the back, towards the back of the dining car, by themselves. She actually has to help him sit down, like she has to pull out his chair for him and the whole thing.
And Spencer did try to talk to her, said, we're available to help if you want some, right? Didn't he say something like that? to her?
It was Jean-Claude.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Did you roll a 12 on that?
no,
Okay. So, but she
I don't
didn't,
think I rolled especially bad. I just
but she turned
was
us
not
down,
as
though.
tactful as I think. Well, I mean, she started crying and left,
Yeah, that's not a good sign usually.
basically turning us down.
And everybody turned and looked at Jean-Claude.
Like, good job. That's
She
funny.
pointedly ignores you when she walks past you, Jean-Claude.
Makes sense. Can't blame her for that.
Not in a totally rude way, just I'm just
making
not
you-
I'm just gonna pretend you're not there.
Yeah.
Not like look at you and then go, or something like that.
She could have given the same reaction if you asked her for the time.
It's possible.
You know how women are back then.
Jean-Claude will still do like a polite nod type thing as he would for anyone passing.
Okay, make a roll for me.
Is Spencer with us? Who's with us?
He
Lloyd?
can be with you.
Has he seen her or seen him rather? The sick guy?
No, he only from a distance, I believe.
I got a 4.
A 4.
Let's say he's with us too, just so he can make an evaluation.
So it's interesting, Jean-Claude. You give her a nod, and the husband, his eyes are like almost like clouded over.
You begin
Like
to
he
glow
doesn't
red.
even look up.
Yeah.
Right. He's trying to hide
Gosh.
from the sun.
Clouded over like
watching,
a
is he
dead
breathing?
man's eyes, or clouded over like cataracts?
Clouded over as in just like almost like drugged up.
Okay.
So not necessarily Weekend at Bernie's.
Does he look like any of the people that I saw with the Black Lotus?
Excellent question. Make a roll.
Six.
And what's your mind?
Mine is a 3.
Yes.
Shit.
Wow.
Great. You're gonna break into his room to get the good shit.
It could be opium.
I need
mean,
my
like,
fix.
Right.
Okay.
It could be opium, but
Hmm.
it's similar to what you saw
More-
those guys. Yeah.
More fentanyl.
And I'll make sure
Yeah,
to tell
yeah.
that to after they pass. I'll make sure to tell that to Henri and Lloyd.
Okay.
And Spencer's with us or no?
Sure.
We can have Spencer with us. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
maybe
with Jean Claude before we went to lunch, so it makes
Mhm.
sense.
Maybe he can make a medical evaluation or whatever.
Sure. Has
You have
he
Narcan?
seen? Yeah, exactly. Has he seen the effects of the Black Lotus?
Yes, for sure. Right. He's actually more than anybody, I think. No,
He was
he was
dead
He went to
ish.
Was
well
he
he
with
went
us
to
trying to get Fu back?
yeah,
Yeah,
he was like the
he
primary guy.
yes.
episode.
He
Yeah,
was a primary.
that's right. He's the one who did walk in. Yeah, so then have him make a medical roll. That's right, because he walked in with the clouds when No Namdak was like lighting up incense tapers of Black Lotus all around the apartment.
Yeah, I'll roll for him, I guess. 8.
What's his medical?
I don't know. 7 or
12.
something.
No, 7. It's probably like a
Is
6
it
or
on
7.
RPO?
6 or 7.
Maybe.
He's got a mind of 6, doesn't he?
I don't know what he has. Oh, let me go look up your characters again.
It's
It's
not
got
mine.
a soul of 1, right?
Negative. Does he have a soul?
That's like Brian.
I mean, he didn't have a soul to begin with. Then he started dating aliens. I mean, I don't know. That can't be good.
What's this here? Desktop.
I'm just eyeballing her anyway. Him.
Well, on RPOL, he has surgery at 4 and first aid at 6.
Okay.
I feel like that might have been increased since then, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a quick look
And he's
here.
got
But
scientist at 6.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
scientist then, right?
yeah. And what did he roll? An 8?
Yeah.
He would be willing, to bet dollars to donuts that it's Black Lotus.
Dun dun dun.
Da-da. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. See how I did that?
No.
That was a segue.
To what?
Boom 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 boom. Da da da. Da, da, da. Boom 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 boom. So also sprach Zarathustra. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, that's what that
Oh.
was?
Thanks.
Sorry. I didn't mean it to sound like that.
Lose a point.
Shit.
Exactly.
my point. I mean,
And
that
it's
was
1 point
great.
for John.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I should know that too, because well, it's only Hal 700.
Anyway,
Anyway,
had me thinking down another line because I'm reading that now. Not the song.
2001?
No.
Also sprach
I'll just
Zarathustra.
rock
Oh, wow. Dude, that's serious.
Yeah, you gotta take your time with something like that.
Yeah.
It's like an in-between book. You read a couple of chapters and then you go read something else. You come back and read a couple of chapters.
You got a Zoroastrian interest going on? Ancient
No,
oh, I hope not. Jeez.
I probably picked it up when I found that stash up in Harrisburg, the bookstore. I brought back like 50 or 60 books. I think that was in there.
Persian? Oh, wow.
Dun, dun,
What is
dun,
it?
dun.
Midtown Scholar. That's it.
Thus spoke Zarathustra. Wow.
That's the God is dead one. So
Yeah, yep. That's what I was just.
it's not exactly what he says. Or in the translation, there's some debate on the translation. That's not what he's saying. It's early in the book, though. I already got past that.
That's what he's
Ubermensch,
saying.
will to
Once,
power,
yeah,
eternal
once
recurrence,
God
and
is
the death
dead,
of God.
then
Right.
all morality goes out the window. That's what he's
Right.
getting at with that.
But doesn't he say we have killed God? Doesn't he already? Doesn't he say that? Though?
Maybe later.
Something.
In the beginning, he's
Mhm.
speaking to a hermit, and he mentions that in passing, like in his
Mhm.
conversation in his head. He's like, does he not know that God is dead? Like, so he's not actually preaching God is dead. It's just something inside his own mind as he's making his own journey. And it's very, very early. So
He's contemporaneous with what's his name? The dude who had the weird dancing that's supposed to invoke the different geometric shapes of the universe and all that. It's a Russian dude.
I don't know.
Not Menshikov, Rolniakov. It'll come to me.
You're a step beyond me. I've actually never heard of it.
Step beyond.
But see, all that makes me think of the Nietzscheans from Andromeda.
Right. And that just made me think of imagined you playing the
He had a ball and mustache. I gotta say, though.
I just imagine Randall playing the saxophone in One Step Beyond.
That's such a great song.
It is a great song.
That's their best song.
I think so.
Although I only know like 3 songs.
Yeah. I think I have that album. So that's probably the best on it. And better than Our House.
Yeah, for sure.
By
Although
far.
Our House is still good.
Yeah.
One Step Beyond is like great, even
Pure-
outside of that.
pure
That's like in the
ska.
top 20 or something.
Yeah. More representative of what they were rather than the.
See, now I have to look up even what you're talking about.
Madness.
Madness.
One Step Beyond.
It was much more popular in the UK. One Step Beyond is like a historical favorite or whatever.
Oh, look at that. I never heard of them.
Yes, you did. They
There you
sing
go.
Our House in the Middle of Our Street.
Oh, are they the guys?
Yeah, but that's their pop.
Right.
Go to the
Sellout
link I put
song.
in the thing.
They're like an old school original ska, like specials, and I don't. That's a deep rabbit hole. I'm not going to go any farther than specials. We'll just stop.
Beyond.
So none of the links are opening for me in the chat, and I don't know why. Can I copy it?
Oh, there's like police boxes in there. You know what I was thinking about? The whole Doctor Who thing with the police telephone box. That should be a porta potty.
Ah.
Seriously. You could see a porta potty anywhere. It's like, that's fine. You see a telephone box, you're like, what the fuck is that thing there?
Well, it was meant for England,
I know. I'm just saying.
where they had them.
I mean, if you're going to reboot something like they did, they should have made it a porta potty.
There's
Plus, that's a lot.
There's a crossover event in EVE Online now with Doctor Who.
No way.
Yeah, so you get a lot. You're searching through all this time space. Usually, when you go through Stargate, like you go straight through, and like all the things go past you.
Mhm.
But during these 2 weeks, as you go through, you start
spirals
twisting and
into-
turning and
Oh,
banging
that's
against the walls
awesome.
and everything.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
And there's a lot more to it, but you get little
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
effects, and you can buy. I think I showed you the clothes for the albedo last week. Now you get like a scar. You can get a scarf and
Oh, that's
all this
cool.
other. Yeah,
Clothes for the albedo. What?
I showed you last week.
You're
You
dressing the
were
albedo?
going into diabetic shock real late last week, so
Okay.
if I recall,
It's very possible.
you were
Yeah.
on the edge.
Always
So,
on the edge. It's my secret.
so early Doctor Who, that is, Doctor 4 predominantly, and some Doctor 3 are, of course, major influences on anything I do sci-fi.
Right.
So
It'd have to be.
Doctor Four in particular, and then of course you have to familiarize yourselves with the future history of Earth and the Earth empires and all that, so that all the technology and everything and the historical references and all the stories make sense. So, and know that there are spin-offs from Doctor Who, like Blake 7, which is connected to which Doctor Who Tom Baker episode?
Oh shit! I knew this. I forget it. No, I don't remember.
Robots of Death,
Okay.
which is where the Laserson probe that I used with the red stuff comes from.
Nice.
Oh,
Just saying. So there's all kinds of interconnections, and considering that it's the Palladium universe that I just stole because it's completely wackadoodle and you can stick anything in it that you want, I can make it all attached together. But Doctor Who is the single largest influence. If we're doing an appendix N for this game, Doctor Who is the single. See, you should get a point for that because you knew what I was talking about. Chuck would also get a point. He would exactly know
You
what I was
would.
talking about. Yeah. Then we would say Tom Baker Doctor Who is the single largest influence on the way I interpret science for the game. So when we talk about fringe science and there's a certain amount of hand wavium and science gibberish, it's definitely more Doctor Who-ish than say like Star Trek-ish or like
Oh,
Fringe or X-Files or something like that. So also just saying, because Tom Baker fought the vampires too. See?
See now, flashback. I rewatched them all.
They're the best.
Yeah.
They're
I get to the beginning to him, and then right after him, I watched a little of that, but it was spotty. Like I couldn't get all the episodes, and then there was nothing until Neil Tennant, or what's his name? It's not Neil Tennant. It's
David Tennant?
David Tennant. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
who's Neil Tennant? Oh, he's from Pet Shop.
He's from the
Boys.
Pet Shop.
Pet Shop Boys. Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I know that name.
You
Yeah.
do know
Yeah. That sounds like a real name.
It's a mnemonic for me to remember,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work if I don't remember.
Well,
Right.
like Doctor Five, when it's like Campion, I mean, he's okay, but like he had Adric and the whole thing,
Yeah, that early, like the first few episodes of that were okay, and then I
yeah.
don't even know what happened after that.
The only good parts of that are he had Tegan and what's her name, the cute princess chick,
I don't remember her name, but
princess. Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah,
wore the
yeah.
little purple dress,
yeah.
and then it just gets rapidly decelerates.
And I was older, so I wasn't watching them as
Yeah.
I was still younger in my house watching the Baker ones. And
Right.
then,
And we were only like a year or two behind when Baker
Right.
was coming out. Like it wasn't like they were from
No.
decades before. It
No,
was
not at
just like
all.
a year or
Yep.
two behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I don't know, whatever age I hit when I went out and started roaming the streets,
Yeah.
stopped watching television.
Yeah. Well, that was back when like Channel 12 played Genesis of the Daleks like 8 times in a row. Like anytime you turned on Doctor Who, it was Genesis of the Daleks.
Right.
Which was also like an 8-episode Doctor Who. So if they're only playing 1 or 2 episodes a Saturday, that's a couple months of Genesis of the Daleks. And then you get like some other episode or two, and then it's back to Genesis of the Daleks again because it's
Right.
the only ones they bought,
Some of those older ones were like 4 or 5 parters, and they were pretty good, but I didn't like. I don't know. I didn't like them all tied together like that and broken up. But I guess you can only get so much in one show.
Yeah.
One
And then they
episode.
did the Key to Time, where the episodes were relatively short, but the whole thing was a progressive story.
Right.
I mean, it's always a progressive story with Doctor Who, but I mean, it was like specifically a like Module 1, Module
Is
2. you know?
How can it? Yeah, it's progressive but not linear. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. There was character development, but it wasn't necessarily the end of one episode led into the next one directly. Not all the time. So, anyway, anywho, for
So
all
what
I
does he get with
know,
an 8?
Hmm?
Oh yeah, Black Lotus. Okay.
Black Lotus. Yep. Dollars to donuts. Because Spencer's an American.
And what did she say was the problem with him? Like, did she say anything?
She didn't.
No.
Nothing. She never said anything. Okay. And did she have an accent, or like, do we have any idea where she's from?
British.
British. Like England,
Like London, yeah.
London. Okay.
Like upper middle class.
Does Spencer recognize them?
Yeah, because this is probably the first time he's seeing them, because it was Howard who saw them before.
All right. Just from,
From Londonizing.
yes. London.
Make a roll. Very low.
Right. I need to find the die roller. 5.
No,
Maybe kind of
doesn't know them, but they're dressed, well, does he have a house in Mayfair or Belgravia? I think it's Mayfair. So they could be from his general area, but not in the same wealth class as him.
lower, I assume.
Yes. So like as if he would guess like a wealthy store owner kind of a thing.
Okay.
Lloyd's with us, right?
Yes. That's Boyd.
I'm sorry, Boyd Hescox. Do you recognize? I mean, is that like a different
That would
type of
not
thing?
even be the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you think? As soon as somebody doesn't have a mansion, they live in a one-room tenement.
I guess. I mean, aren't you guys all sort of
They
like the same? I
share a
don't know.
bottle of gin.
I remember him from the alley.
Exactly.
Right, bleeding bastard.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything you would like to do during lunch? Go accost a woman. That seems to be a normal thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of them.
All right. And that guy's wearing a shawl, so he might as well be.
None of the guys that came in with Metcalf are there, right?
No.
Okay. Have we seen them at all since they got on the train?
When Mencalf came in to eat breakfast and spoke to Elizabeth, they were in the car.
Okay.
But that was the last time you saw them. They're not here at lunchtime.
Okay. I guess I'll try and just I mean, I can't eavesdrop on Elizabeth because that's going to be too weird, and I can't get close enough. We could eavesdrop on the Count and Countess. See if they're talking about it. Well, I mean, does he sit with anybody? Are they just
The
sitting?
Count
by
and
themselves?
Countess, no, they are sitting by themselves.
Okay.
She's sitting across the table from him, holding his hand across the table.
She looks sincere.
Sure.
Make a roll.
Yeah, make a psychology roll.
I'm guessing not. But I rolled a 10, so I don't know.
A 10? She's
Yeah.
clearly in love with him.
Jean Claude will take a roll. I I got a
No, they're not.
6.
They're obviously.
What's
in
your
love.
psychology?
A 6.
Jean Claude.
She's such a good actress.
Are they
Are you
talking
guys-
at all, or
You guys are scouting for Spencer.
They are talking.
okay?
Yeah.
Well, listen in on the
we are.
kind of take a seat, listen to the conversation while I eat.
You're
You're speaking in Russian?
Yeah, mhm.
Damn it! Can I lean over and just be like, "Yo, speak French"? Okay.
Exactly.
S'il vous plaît.
No, I guess
It's a mixture of Russian and German. You hear?
I don't speak either of them.
They play Wagner like they were German.
I guess I'll sit to a point where I can watch the sick guy, the husband. I want to be
Okay.
like from across the car. I don't want to make it like super obvious that I am, but I want to watch.
Okay, so you
Like
want to
how
see
he
where you can
eats.
hear what
don't
they're
watch
saying, but
them.
you can see him, and you want to see him from face on.
It's I must
If
if I
possible.
can if
It's
I can't,
doable.
I'll just see from like the side.
Yep, no, that's doable because they're seated closer. Just the way I'm picturing it in my head, closer to this end of the car. So, like, if you sat next to the Russians, across the aisle, then you can see diagonally, and watch him. He eats ravenously.
Hmm.
Like he has 2 servings.
Does he eat unaided?
Yes. He can
Okay.
he can eat on his own. It's not the fastest. Make a roll for me.
How rare is
Notice
it
roll.
fake?
A 7.
Okay, hold on a second. I have to type to somebody. Yes, so his hand is shaking, but he manages basically, like he shovels the food in. He
Okay.
does not eat in a gentlemanly fashion.
Does he have any of the physical traits that we read about in the journals about like the guy with the gills or does he remind us of any of those kinds of
Those were the guy, the German guy. Make a notice roll of some kind. So it's a mind roll.
I think I'd be ready with the dice. All right. Ugh, 9.
Not that you see.
Is the shawl around his neck? I guess it probably is. And his shoulders.
Yeah, it's up around his shoulders, but it's not like he's wearing a high stiff collar.
Right.
That very
He's not trying to hide his neck.
No,
He's just trying to keep warm.
he's just trying to keep warm. Yep.
Which would think you want to do that too. Okay.
Hmm.
And none of them are wearing rings or have any like Egyptian kind of like weird. I mean, the fezzes are a little odd, but they're not with the guys with they are with the guys with the fezzes, but they don't have fezzes.
Well, how do you know they're with the guys with the fezzes?
Wasn't the woman with the guy with the fez?
Metcalf.
Metcalf?
She
was,
spoke
and
to him.
she
She
talked
spoke to him at breakfast.
As if they were like friends, I thought.
They
Love.
chat together. Well, ask Jean-Claude.
Yeah, the dialogue was as if it was they knew each other. She didn't seem terribly receptive to him, but he was. But it seemed more of like he was in control of the situation. At least that's my read on it. Is that
Okay.
Is that correct, Randall?
That's reasonable. Yeah, I mean that's a
For
reasonable take
for like
on what
my
we-
interpretation of what
Mhm.
I witnessed
He was
so far,
reassuring to her.
and she just wasn't terribly reassured.
She wasn't easily reassured. Yeah.
So
And he's
he was
not the
okay.
most. He's not the most reassuring fellow either.
No, you didn't hear what
What
he
exactly he
was reassuring
said.
her about, but
Yeah,
presumption was about her dying husband.
could be a fact that that her husband's a zombie.
Well, you should check to see if he's eating like steak that's particularly rare or anything.
Is he only eating meat?
It's true.
uh
Does he leave the vegetables and only eat like lick the plate if there's blood? Like,
I'm trying to think what
That's
you're
what
gonna
I
Eating
do
a
serve for
whole
lunch.
rabbit.
I do that.
Vegetables are for poor people.
So you just give him a plate of ground beef.
Skinny people.
A literal human hand on a plate.
It's to fill you
Hot
up when you
dogs.
run out of meat.
It's true.
It is.
Definitely
I
crunchy.
agree.
So let's see.
Potatoes are somewhere in the middle.
So he has a large bowl of French onion soup.
Mm.
Oh,
So he enjoys eating the French, does he?
French onion. I'm offended.
And he follows it up with a large serving of beef bourguignon.
Mm.
Okay.
But does he finish everything?
Yes,
But he
for
eats
dessert,
like rudely,
and he
just
eats
like
rudely.
he just doesn't care. Like he hasn't eaten
Correct.
in a while.
Correct.
I guess he
and for
didn't
dessert,
eat. He
Brady
wasn't at
fingers
the last
from the woman
meal,
next
so.
to him.
Correct. He was not at the last meal. Maybe this is his last meal.
Are there any
He's not at
sores
the Last
visible on his
Supper?
hands or wrists
Where
or
I was going with that. Uh,
skin? Anything? Any kind of wounds?
bruising. His skin looks taut. You know, like how they say, like
Mhm.
you know, like when people's skin is stretched, you know, over their bones, that kind of thing, like papery. Hence the, you know, like 30 going on like 65 or 70.
Okay.
So when he walks by, do one of you two want to stand up and bump into him by accident, see if he goes over?
I don't know.
He falls over and you hear glass shattering.
I do feel like. Go ahead.
Do you like say that at the table?
Yeah, as loud as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Knock in there.
I give you a wink and open my folding knife.
Yeah.
Hey Lloyd, you kneel down behind
You
him.
just stand up
we'll
and go,
table him.
as you
Excuse
walk
me,
past.
sir.
Oh, I just sneezed. Achoo.
Excuse me, governor.
Achoo. I think Spencer. So I feel
don't
like
need
he
a Don
would want
Diego
to
one.
follow them back to their car if they are like where they. Do we know where they are? Number one, do we know where they are staying?
They're on
I-
our train car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're in the front of our
Okay.
car.
And what about the guys with the fez? Are they?
They're
all-
in the second car, I believe.
So they're not in the same car as
No.
them.
No.
Okay. So I feel like Spencer would like to offer his help. You know, later on,
Okay.
try to get some more information and tell him that he's, you know, had some experience with similar wasting disease.
If it would help,
But-
sure, I will, how you say, bone your wife? That's Spencer's specialty, right?
Attempted.
It's how
Really
it
likes-
gets him kidnapped 100% of the time.
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
likes aliens. But for now, I mean, I would. Don't you guys think he would? I think it would make sense, right? Maybe we get some more information and, but maybe away from the guy with the fez.
I mean, we tried offering that with Jean Claude. I don't know how much more Spencer's gonna get.
He's a doctor.
That's where I'm thinking if one of us bumps into the guy, and like,
Did you
he
say you were a
takes
doctor, or did you just say
no, I
if
said
as-
I said a member of my party is a doctor and can take a look at him if she needs, and then she started crying and left.
Just in terms of the knocking over people thing, remember, I almost died falling over. And this
But
man
you had
has
grenades
in your
absolutely a
your
body
jacket.
of one.
He's got
You're
a
gonna
body of
knock him
one,
over,
but he's
gonna
on Black
brain
Lotus.
himself on a table.
You don't like knock him completely over. You just you do like a bump into him and then like catch him as he falls type thing.
What are you
Full
trying to
body
like go through his
check
wallet,
him
or
standing
what are you
up
trying
so
to
he
do?
launches
Yeah,
back.
just use that as like an oh my god, are you all right? And then the doctor comes over and checks him out type thing, and then Spencer can kind of get near him to really take a
Unless he
look.
doesn't budge and you fall over. And then we'll
Exactly,
know
and
it's
And if that happens, we know something's real wrong.
Maybe we can. He could be like, "Look, I've done a lot of really interesting, miraculous medical things, like my friend's finger," and I'll go like this,
I made out with a sea urchin. What?
and I'll show him my finger, and that'll just like mesmerize them.
that's too hard. When we go through the tunnel, I'll shoot him in the leg.
No, we should do that
Definitely need a
anyway.
doc- They'll
Even if-
definitely need a doctor.
I've seen this before. It's called
We don't need a
spontaneous
doctor.
bone explosions.
How about that?
And then I'll smash the window out, and then I'll shoot him through the leg, and that way it'll seem like the shot came from outside.
Make sure Jean
But all the
Claude's not
glass
near
will
there,
be
otherwise he
outside,
might
too.
fall through it.
I know, but these people are not fucking Poirot. Like they won't.
Malcolm, after you did all that, you were supposed to hide the gun again.
Damn it!
He comes walking into the dining car. It's
My
smoke
God, did
curling
someone
out
get
of the muzzle.
shot?
Right. He hears bam,
There's
bang,
a murderer
bang,
on the
bang.
train. Oh, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. He would go through the tunnel. It's dark. One shot fires, and it's like 60 shots of return fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's armed to the teeth.
Lots of lightning bolts.
All right, maybe we won't effectuate that plan. We'll do it.
I don't know.
We'll try the shoulder bump first.
Yeah, maybe as they're leaving, and we'll just
Yeah,
like
so I was thinking, just kind of like wait for him to be leaving, and then like do like an ill-timed stand-up, kind of bump into him, and then do like a quick like oh god, and catch him before he like kills himself.
I think yeah,
and then
Spencer
Spencer
could
comes over
try
as
to
a doctor.
sell his experience with a very very similar, patient or something.
Unless he shivs you when you do that. Like
Well, then we just shoot him and we move on.
Yeah, Lloyd's willing to be the bumper if you need that done, but just make it clear what you want.
We're not trying to bump him
no
off.
death.
Trying to
No death,
limit.
No, wait, not too.
Yeah, what do you mean by bump?
No,
Clearly,
parameters.
Bump them off? Get
Must give Lloyd parameters. You can't just
Yes.
it's not open.
Lloyd stands up and the man flies like 4 feet in the air.
Stand up, give him a real big uppercut.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so is there a plan of something like that?
You want
Somebody gonna stick their leg out when he walks by, and then when he falls, run your hands lasciviously all over his body and steal his wallet.
We leave that to Brian.
If he cries out, accidentally shiv him. Then say, what? Walk away, jump off the train in Austria somewhere.
So how hard do you want me to bump him?
I mean, does that plan make any sense to anyone else? Or
I definitely think we should try to get Spencer hooked up with them, and bumping them seems like a good way to do it.
So he needs to be injured enough to require a physician.
well, just enough to make it like to look like you to off-settle him, kind of like have him like start to tumble, and then you catch him, and then Spencer can be like an oh my
Well,
god.
that won't need a doctor.
Gotcha.
It's Spencer. He'll swoop in, or you can. I don't want to necessarily injure the guy because we want to make sure that any injuries he has aren't caused by us.
We could even just knock up after they go back to their cabin, right? Just be like, "Hey, we saw you there."
We could,
and just kind of force our way in a very polite way. You know what I mean?
Like selling Bibles.
Kind of.
I don't know.
It
Polite
is.
isn't our way.
Yeah.
Brutality. That's
I mean, they
our
can't
way.
run from us once they open the door.
We're more the Sturm and Drang.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying we should like murder them or anything. I'm just saying, like, once you're like, got your
Yeah,
foot
he
in the
doesn't mean
door-
when you pull your revolvers, he doesn't want you to point the muzzles at him. Just reverse them in your hand. So like
No.
just knock
You
on the door. When they open the door, you come in
once
and
you have contact
with
with
the
face to
with
face.
the butt.
It's very difficult to
You
break away
don't
from
knock
that.
on
We
if
the
you're
just-
polite.
It's
you
perfect.
don't knock on the door, so that's where your plan falls apart.
Why?
could-
Just walk in.
It's just not done. No,
You kick the door in.
it's a sleeping
We
apartment.
point our guns at
I
them
don't
and
know.
we
I
say
think
our
it is
doctor's
in
expecting
extreme
your husband.
circumstances.
It's happening.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just knock into him. Fine. Yeah. Do it.
like when he's getting up, or
Well, like as because he's gonna pass by us on the way back out. I think if he's going back to his room, does he have to pass by us, Randall?
Yes.
So if we,
I could time moving my chair so as to ram into him.
yeah, and not like the plan is not to injure him. It's just to kind of give Spencer an in to kind of hop into the I'm a doctor. Let me take a look at you.
Right.
You look bad.
That is not to injure him.
Oh my gosh.
Make a roll 2. Oh my god!
You killed them both.
He goes flying out the window.
God is my witness. That man is broken in half.
Okay, so who's going to do what now that there's been some levity?
I
So I think-
will attempt to ram into him as they walk past.
Bump
Okay.
into him.
Make it look like I'm just getting up.
Happened he got up at the same time, and you're gonna try and like
Is there like a newspaper around?
You pretend you're a little. Pretend you're a
not
little
in-
inebriated.
Not in
maybe.
the dining car. That would be more for the salon car.
It's like noon, isn't it?
It is.
I guess it's not unheard of to be a little drunk at noon.
It's not impossible.
Not for a
that's
former
sure.
soldier.
So you're going to, as they pass, but you're going to wait until they finish eating. As they're passing by, you're going to try and make it look like you stand up at the same time, get your shoulder like underneath his arm and into his ribs, and knock him sideways, send him sprawling over a table, try and trip your feet up with him, fall
Well,
on him. What do you want to do?
Fairly close confines, right? So
Mhm. Yes.
I could just ram my chair into him, or is she on the side of my
Well,
chair?
none of the chairs pull out into the aisle.
Ah.
Because, it's like designed like that.
Sure.
You'll have to do like a push the chair back, stand up, and swivel into him. I guess.
Yeah, you could be like laughing, like you're like we're,
You're like,
we're still.
yeah, of
we'll-
course. It's so nice.
We'll be mid We'll make it so
Yeah.
we're all in mid conversation at the table. I guess.
So
And then-
so,
and
okay, here's what I'll
mortified.
do.
Spencer can.
I'll make it look like I sort of clip my knee on the table and like lose my balance just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then just sort of give him an elbow.
Okay.
Nothing too serious.
He
Okay.
ends up killing him.
Okay.
You roll a 12.
All right. So you guys sit through the whole lunch, and you're pulling into Salzburg actually now,
Mm.
and that's about when they're getting up, and he's walking down the aisle in front of his wife on the way out, hobbling with his cane. And as he's passing by, you stand up and you're talking. You turn and you bump your knee on the table and make a roll.
All right, here we go.
And you obliterate him.
Manslaughter on the Orient Express.
What's your grapple?
He trips, falls over somebody's table, glass shatters, takes him right in the chest. His head goes through the window, through the window pane.
Man won on that one.
Laying there, thrashing, bleeding his life's blood out on the table.
Well, at least if that happens, we'll know he's not like some horrifying monster.
We don't see your screen there.
You don't?
Nope.
It says you started screen sharing,
Yep.
but it hasn't said you finished it
Oh.
in any way.
Yeah, you kinda
Exactly.
worked
All right, you
Anyway,
bump him.
It's a 9. I wouldn't lie about a 9.
Oh
So
god.
Okay. So and
body's
your
a 5.
body's a
Oof.
Oh
five.
god, he's dead.
You like hit him in
We
the
killed
solar
him.
plexus.
Okay.
Oh god, we
Knock the
killed
wind
him.
out of him.
So you actually, it's interesting, like you stand up, you bump your knee and you turn, and then let me see here. Let me just kill it. There we go. Why are none of my commands working? All right, there we go. And you turn and you bump into him and you stick your elbow out there, and it like, I mean, how big are you? Like, what size are you?
Good sized.
Mid-size? So he's
No,
definitely
good sized.
Oh, good sized. Okay, because he's
L. He's an L.
yeah.
Temporary
So he's like a Howard size, and and skinny like Howard. But when you bump into him, he just like he like staggers to the side and slams his hand down onto the table next to him and catches himself with his cane, and he looks at you with this, this like again, this like kind of drugged out haze in his eyes, and he looks at you like, what just happened to me? But he doesn't say that. He doesn't say anything at all. His wife, on the other hand, lets out a shriek. Ah, like that. What do you do? And she lunges forward.
Whoa.
Is
Yeah,
Like
Boyd
Like
is
at
frozen.
Lloyd or at the guy?
What
Like
happened to
at
Lloyd?
her husband.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it killed Lloyd.
Yep.
He's like,
I guess the problems were just indicative something with the internet.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, Rooney. Well, we'll just wait for Boyd to come back.
Oh, you get a drink while wait.
The rest of
Yeah.
us will have to act
Yeah.
accordingly.
Did you secretly move him into a side room?
Nope. Sadly.
He didn't get like
Still
sucked
a
into another
flame.
dimension then.
That I'm not saying didn't happen.
Wow. Yeah.
So he was more durable than we thought then.
Yes, or at least he didn't fall over.
Okay.
He did catch himself.
So did he seem to like be dazed beforehand and then kind of temporarily came out of it?
I wouldn't say he ever properly came out of it.
But did he seem slightly more alert?
More like what's happening to me.
Okay. Gotcha.
So he's completely unaware of his surroundings.
That's kind of the impression you get, yes. He made no effort to dodge.
From my time on the Black Lotus, does that sound about right? Or was I more with it than that? Because I remember I was able to pick some stuff up.
Right, but you had also held back on your dose.
That's true. I only
The
did
other
a little
guys,
bit.
yeah, and then once you got up there and with the chanting, everything was gone. The other guys, though, it seemed very early on, they went right into the whole, like, this is awesome.
I guess they did all we did all get led up to where we were going to. There was no real
Correct. And remember, no one resisted being searched.
Yeah, not even I did.
Nope. Is it just me, or does Malcolm's chair look like a cobra?
It does.
It does, actually.
It's like he left like, Well, since a couple people have left, why don't we take a quick, 5-minute break? I'm going to run up, grab something to drink, and I'll be right back.
I think I will do the same.
Anybody else want anything? I can shove it through the screen.
Yeah,
If you
you
can,
got any
sure.
snacks?
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'll be right back.
It's the only savory snack. The old fashioned.
Hmm.
All righty. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm using my Moss Eisley mug that my sister gave me from
Oh, neat.
Disney Star Wars.
Cool.
It's got a Millennium Falcon on the top here, which I can't really show you because I'd spill it, but that's a yes, Tim.
Yes.
All right. Those may or may not be noticed.
Mhm.
All right. Welcome back, Boyd.
So you
Did you-
you got stabbed.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
did you hit the guy so hard that your internet just crashed?
Right, exactly.
Turns out he's the third guy from the Golden Orb. A shimmer went around him,
No.
and he stabbed you through the throat with a lightsaber.
Yeah, none of that happened.
As he yelled "Kneel before Zod," it was weird.
Said Zod is a clod. You'll be for me.
Is there a kneel before Zod in the new Superman movie with General Zod?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I feel like there is. I just like the robot chicken one. Cracks me up. Lay down before Zod.
I gotta say, I just watched a version from Krypton, episode 10.
Oh, how is that show?
I don't know, but the kneel before Zod scene was pretty good.
Click on my link. That's the best one.
Your link, these links, none of them.
Copy it and paste it into the thing.
Yeah, I can't even copy. I've select
Oh.
all.
Weird, because I can just click on them, but
Yeah, it should just click for me, but it doesn't.
There's Google that.
Kneel before Zod robot chicken. Okay, yeah, I think that one came up.
It's great.
There's classic kneel before Zod.
Krypton, huh? Is that any good? That's what I think of every time I hear Neil with Zod. So Robot Chicken has, I don't know, ruined it. Maybe not ruined it. Made it awesome for me forever. Sort of takes the oomph out of it, though. That is such a classic line, though.
I know. See, that's the thing.
So, I mean, and I remember seeing that in the theater, being like, so great. brainiacs in Krypton?
All righty. Are we all back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brian's back. All right. All right. Anybody else doing anything now that you've pulled into Strasbourg? Sorry. Salzburg?
Salt pork?
I would like to
Salt
buy some
pork?
salt, please. I would like to buy some salt.
Exactly. The hills are alive with the sound of buying salt at Salzburg.
I am butcher of Salzburg.
Okay. All right. So there is a short stop there. And then it is approximately, that's about that was just before 1. And then there is a close to 5-hour journey, 4.5, 5 hours. And you guys will be in Vienna at the Westbahnhof. And then there'll be a long layover there for about half hour, 45 minutes. And then you guys will go. It says the Staatsbahnhof, but technically it's the Zentralbahnhof at this time period.
Did
Wait, what
did
happened
they
with
just
the?
leave after the shoulder check? Did she say-
Yeah, sorry, I
did
forgot we didn't
Elizabeth
finish
say
that.
anything?
You're like,
So-
oh yeah, by whatever.
Yeah, so moving on. So yeah, so where we left it, I don't know if Lloyd, if you could hear.
Lloyd had
so,
a fork in his
Yeah,
stomach.
so you shouldered him and he staggered to the side, and it was I mean, he's a big dude. He's tall like Howard. And even though he's frail looking, he was solid when you bumped into him. He staggered to the side, slammed his hand down on the table and caught himself, and then looked over at you with his drug clouded eyes with this look of like, what is going on?
I like instantly, like the second after it happens, I say,
Mhm.
oh my God, I'm so sorry, Jeff. And I try and help him.
All right. In the meantime, his wife has let out a shriek and leaped forward to grab hold of him. So you're trying to like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Just trying to grab his arm to like pull him up, you know. And I also sort of want to feel and see if he's muscular. Or,
Just
Yeah,
reach
big
down,
muscles.
really see what's there.
Right,
or is
exactly.
it like pudding?
Ooh,
He's very, very bony.
ooh.
Bony, but like hard. Like I was saying, like his skin is stretched taut, you know.
And then you reach higher up, and you see how his arm is.
And then you feel his balls. That's a nice pair. All right, enough of that.
There's a lot of that going on. I'm in Archer season 11.
Oh,
So
wait, what?
they just discovered that Barry actually still retained his manly parts when they blew him up for like 56th time. This is Barry who was on their side, if anybody knows the story of Archer.
Nope, never watched it.
It's really, really, really dirty. But it's
I watched
very,
Frisky Dingo.
it's
Have
He's
none
a
of
very
us
con
watched
funny.
artist, but
I've seen some episodes, but I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it religiously. I've seen
Frisky Dingo's awesome.
You people don't watch Archer? What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly.
I like it.
Ugh. I don't know.
Archer's really, really funny. I'm at the point though where I'm sick of him not learning anything, because I had such high hopes when he was having like life-changing experiences in his coma, and now that he's back from the coma, you know, I expected him to change, and it's like, oh, come on, man. Of course, he is getting dicked around by Lana, and then Lana has gotten to. I used to like Lana, and now I've gotten to the point where I can't stand her. But he is sowing discord amongst all his friends, as he is wont to do. So all is returning to normal. Anyway, if you don't know the Archer story, none of that will make any sense.
I think I've watched like 2 episodes, but whatever. Yeah, no.
John, it seems like your kind of show. I'm surprised you haven't watched it.
It's very, very, very
I gave it a couple shots.
risque.
Yeah. It's the same artist as Frisky Dingo, right? I think it is.
I don't know Frisky
which is,
Dingo. So.
which is an amazing show. That's Killface. And he saves the planet. He runs for president. And he wins. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
so I mean, I think Spencer's going to try to take advantage of the opportunity to insist, apologizing for Lloyd and
Oh no! I insist. Here, I'm a doctor. Are you all right? And and you see the guy just kind of turns and
then say with sort of like like an exasperated, emphatic way, like, "Oh my, you have you look exactly like my sister looked when she had the wasting disease," or whatever. He'll come up some like
sure, exactly.
whatever.
And
but with like some real words in there that like a layperson would be like, "Oh yeah, that
Right.
sounds
She had the
terrible."
tuberculosis and the
yeah, but
smallpox.
not exactly, not that.
right, exactly.
I've seen this before. It's late stage syphilis.
You'll be losing that nose soon.
And then say that in a sort of a shocked way, and then look at the wife and say, "Please, I think I can help your husband. My sister had what I think may be the same exact symptoms."
And
when he says wasting disease, I let go of his arm and sort of jerk my hand back. Like,
Well, he doesn't
what
say
the-
right, so he doesn't say that exactly. Right?
what did they call
or whatever.
tuberculosis? Was it
The way it
there
was
consumption.
consumption? That's it.
and then they also call it the wasting.
Yeah, so it looks like you look just like when my sister had consumption, and Lloyd goes, "Oh, yeah, we're cool."
No, but it's not that he's not gonna say that. He's gonna say what I thought was consumption, but it turned out to be
Megapox.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The Black
exactly.
Death.
Yeah, like the wasting pox or something.
Yes, leprosy.
But after we cauterized all of her
The very rare
boo-boos,
case of wasting to make it sound like it's rare,
Yeah,
but then
after
he was
the
able
screaming
to
stopped.
successfully.
After we cauterized all her wounds, she didn't die of consumption.
right, exactly.
You know what I'm
So,
driving at, though, right? Yeah.
So he says, but it wasn't. I think I can help him. And the wife just looks up and she says, "Please, sir, leave us alone. Leave us alone." She says, "I must get my husband back to our room, back to our compartment. He's overcome."
With the zombieism. He's not trying to bite Lloyd, right?
No. He's just
The man he
looks-
fell on, on the other hand.
he looks to a lay person, he looks like a really sick dude, like with the wasting disease, who's then been drugged out of his mind, like on laudanum or something.
Does
Which is common enough.
does Spencer remember any like I don't know, like
How to do anything doctory?
well that no, but buzzwords or like terms that were used for like the Black Lotus that
He would not have been exposed to any particular terms for it.
all right.
Neither would have Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
So
They were
I still
just
think we
given
should
it.
show. I still think we'll let them go back and we'll kind of knock up and insist.
why did we come to Black Lotus? Wouldn't something like opium be more common and might have similar effects?
Because we are paranoid.
Correct. And while you're absolutely correct, Lloyd, Spencer made a roll and he decided arbitrarily that no, this looks like
Arbitrarily?
Black Lotus.
So
Well, he doesn't smell it on them.
So do I smell opium? I mean, I've probably been in sort of unsavory areas where I
Mhm.
might have
Oh,
smelled
you
opium.
absolutely would have been. No, you do not actually.
And I don't smell Black Lotus either.
No, but
Okay.
opium, if it's laudanum, that's wine mixed with opium, so
Sure.
you wouldn't smell that. You know.
Dude's definitely doing edibles.
Yep, hash cookies. He was probably in Morocco recently.
Hashtag hash cookies. All
I
right,
told
so
you about the backpacker story I read, where the dude was up in the Rift Mountains in Chefchaouen, and every hotel sells like hash cookies in their little hotel, gift shop kind of store where you buy candy bars and stuff like that. And he thought he bought just a hash cookie that would just like, oh well, he's up out in the wandering through the town and up in the mountains, he'll be fine. And whatever it was he ate, he's like staggering around. He got like lost in the mountains for like 6 hours or 8 hours or something like that. Finally, like, but not that he cared. And then he like finally finds his way back into the town. And here it ends up. The word that they had said, he finally got somebody to translate for him. Apparently, it was a heroin cookie,
Oh my
not a
God.
hash cookie. Yeah,
oops.
yeah,
That's one way to get people to come back for your baked goods, though.
yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
So
Well,
he was like, never doing that ever again. And
you
he
could put,
managed
like,
apparently to hold off.
a little piece of hash on the tip of a paper clip,
Mhm.
and if you bend it so the point sticks up, then you can light it and then put like a cup on it. And if it's like a counter, then you bring the cup over and you like breathe it in and like go back. So I've been told.
Is that what you do? The
I've seen that actually happen at
There
a
were
Swiss
guys-
Farms.
there were guys.
It's a long story.
There were guys in. We went to this artisanal shop when we were in Fez, and it's all like it was handmade ceramics and stuff like that. And my brother got all his shopping done quick, and I'm there still picking what I'm gonna bring home. And there's this little courtyard out front, and a lot of the workers were sitting on like on one side of the courtyard, and my brother's sitting on the other side. And I finally come out, and I'm like, that's a terrible smell, And my brother's sitting there, and he's a good like 30, 40 feet away from these guys, and he's like sickly green. And I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, there's guys over there smoking hash.
Yeah, it does not smell
Yeah, he's like,
great.
to be fair, they asked if I wanted to join them, and I was like, no, thank you. They were very polite. But I tried to get as far away from the cloud as possible.
And then, I mean,
Take a hit on this, white boy. Take a hit
You
of
can-
this.
you can
We'll
see
have
the
some fun
mistake
later.
with heroin because it looks a lot like black tar heroin. So
That's my understanding. Yeah, exactly. From what they showed.
yeah,
us
my
back in-
understanding too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they showed us in criminal investigation, so I know what you're talking about.
right.
Yep. So we'll just go with that.
So this guy's
I
on
must
black
have
tar
had-
heroin.
Right.
I probably saw it on the interwebs. That's where
Probably.
I learned all my information.
That's right. But apparently, heroin cookies are an actual thing,
Why not?
and people don't really speak English very much in Morocco at all. Like at all. They speak French, Arabic, and Berber. And you hear much, much more of the Arabic and the Berber. It's so much so that even when you don't speak French and you hear the French, you're like, oh, it's French. I can look those words up in the dictionary. I may have a chance of saying something back to you.
I'd love to go there.
Do you speak enough French?
No, I would just love to visit though.
It's really cool.
I'm sure I get mugged and killed, but
You may get mugged. I got semi-mugged, and you will get heinous sick. Like that it is much, 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 much rarer to not get sick than to get sick, no matter how careful you are. And I mean, like, the only time I was more sick than that was when I had dysentery in college,
oof.
and
That's terrible.
I was in the hospital. When State College got hit with that it wasn't Giardia, but it was something in the water table, and I was in the hospital for like 3 days.
I thought it was just from that game. That's real thing.
What, dysentery? Yeah, exactly from the Oregon Trail.
From the meme.
Yeah, you guys were talking about that. It's like, oh, I bet you wouldn't get past the Missouri River without dying of dysentery. And it's like, I can tell you, it's really, really
Not good.
bad. Yeah, really bad. Modern technology was the only thing. It was like 3 days in a hospital, 2-3 days, and then a week in a hotel room with my parents eating like, like egg drop soup before I was fit
Jeez.
enough to get back to class. Yeah, it was really, really terrible. And Morocco is just like a couple steps below that, like a step or two, maybe two. And my brother, being a pharmacist, just threw Cipro at me immediately, and that was extraordinarily helpful. A broad spectrum antibiotic. And we were there for 19 days, and this is like halfway through the trip. And he's like, "Well, you can take Cipro for 10 days." And basically, he got his buddy, the physician at the hospital, just give him an entire, instead of like they give you like normally like 3 days, so it's like just
Right.
enough to get you to a hospital. He was like, "Screw that, we're going to be in the Sahara Desert." So he had like an entire like 30-day supply of Cipro. So he's like, "You can take it for 10 days, so why don't you just stay on it for the entire rest of the trip?" And I did.
Right.
Then I didn't
Super
really have to
helpful.
worry so much, But it was it's pretty bad. And everybody on our trip who got sick, they were like 80% of the people pretty much out of the group got sick, and those who didn't take antibiotics were still sick when we went home 19 days later.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you don't want to be that sick. Kind of sick. Interfered with your enjoyment of seeing the really, really, really cool things that are there. So, most alien place I have ever been. Very neat. Very, very neat.
Yeah. Were you the alien?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a bit like your story, you read the Arabian Nights and stuff like that. It does not properly prepare you. You can see how like the words that they use in the book are how it actually is. But the emotional content is totally different when you're actually there. You're just like, I have no idea what's going on. And I read all the travel guides and everything. I have no idea where I am. Yeah, there's in Fez alone, it's the largest Medina, which is an old city in the Middle East. Well, I mean, it's not the Middle East, it's the Maghreb, but still in the Middle East, including the Maghreb. It's bigger than the old city of Jerusalem. So it's a 1 by 1.5, I think, mile area with 10,000 streets. 10,000
Crazy.
individually named streets. And then it was some ridiculous amount of people. It was like 500,000 people or something like that. So yeah, it's insane. It's literally streets. You can put a hand on each wall, and nothing is straight, and they're like tilted in like 3 dimensions. I mean, it's bizarre. It's absolutely amazing. Totally have to go there. By the way, if you like anything Arabic, but oh my gosh, it's alien. Food's really, really good. So, anyway, and the desert is ridiculously hot. Like really, 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 really hot. So would have been helpful when we were playing Dark Sun for me to know, in fact, quite exactly how hot the desert was.
Wow. We're not in the game. Our characters are in the game.
Correct.
They can deal with it. We would die. At least I would.
Yeah. I mean, the Sahara, that was end of June. And it was 111. And then
A cool day on a.
yeah, well, the city was anywhere
What's the name of our
between.
planet?
What's
Dune?
that?
Well, not Dune. In Athos. A cool day on Athos.
Yeah, it was like a cool day on Athos. Yep.
110.
Yeah, 110. And in Fez, it was like 100
That's a
to
fun
110. and then the desert was like 111 to 114 on average, but there were days it was like 124, and there was 135-degree wind blew out of the desert, blew at us
Hey, Dave.
at 5 o'clock at night.
Hey,
Dave,
Each
we're
night.
just getting started.
Yep. That's not true.
We were discussing whether we should have French toast or like eggs.
Oh,
We did elbow a guy.
We did elbow guy.
okay.
Yeah, so
That is really all we've done.
one action.
it's true. There has been one action. There have been multiple dice rolls. It's not my fault.
We're not blaming you.
Yeah,
Oh no, not at all.
It's Steve's fault.
Oh, weak.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. It's not
Yeah.
true.
I'm
was
getting
weak.
stuff done. So
Yes, there has been
You-
plenty.
That's because you
there's been
got
plenty
two,
of
two
typing.
log-ons. Tim's logged on twice, so he can get twice as much pickpocketing done.
So, yeah, so we've moved on to lunchtime, Dave.
Okay.
There's been some exploring of going up and down the train cars. You guys have pulled into Salzburg. You're in Austro-Hungarian Empire now. And you guys were sitting at lunch. You saw the Count and Countess. There was some eavesdropping, but they were speaking in Russian and German. And then you saw the young lady with her sickly husband. And the team decided that Lloyd needed to stand up and then stagger into him and give him an elbow under the ribs and try and knock him down and see what happens.
Sickly husband.
The sickly husband, yes.
the hope was that Spencer could swoop in as a doctor and we'd get some much needed info.
So
But-
he staggered to the side, put his hand down. He's in a drugged out haze. Spencer is convinced that it's Black Lotus. And but there's no other evidence for that. Like nobody smells Black Lotus. Nobody saw them like snorting Black Lotus or anything like that. It could be laudanum, we were saying, but Spencer would lay odds that it's Black Lotus. The guy looked up like with this look of like what's going on. He had just been shoveling down two entire lunch orders, and he's shaking. His hand was shaking, but he shoveled them down. And now his wife screamed and quick ran forward. Spencer is like, your husband looks exactly like my sister when we thought she was dying of consumption, but it wasn't consumption. I think I can help your husband. And she's like, leave us alone. I am taking my husband. He must go to our compartment. He has to rest. And that's where we're at. What does everybody do? I shoot her, right? That's the next line.
Stand up from my chair and accidentally smash into her.
There was talk about accidentally shivving him 6 or 7 times. They were waiting for a tunnel. Somebody needed to get shot. I wasn't entirely sure who was going to get shot in the tunnel.
That was the backup plan.
and then get thrown off the train.
So, hey, Randall, this woman,
Yeah.
Does she seem legitimately concerned for her husband, or that
Yes.
she's trying to cover something up?
She's
both.
in what way do you think cover it up?
So I think there's 3 options, or maybe there's 4 options. One, she's like covering up something she knows, and she's trying to like kill him, or she's
Mhm.
in on like, or he's not her husband, or
Okay.
whatever. Number 2 is she's trying to like cover up the fact that she knows he's on Black Lotus and all these like kind of weird things are happening, and she doesn't want anybody getting involved, but she's still legitimately concerned. Or she's
Okay.
just playing out legitimately concerned for him, and he's just like sick.
Okay.
So
So how would you tell the difference?
Psychology, just in business dealings.
Okay.
I don't, you know what I mean?
So you could make a psychology roll and see.
Yeah. I know it's kind of vague, but
That's because it's pretty vague and awfully subtle to
Yeah.
determine between an we need to get to our room.
Henri is using his previous dating
Al-
experience
although-
as the
yeah.
Where there was lots of screaming.
Yeah, so American Psycho, or whatever that movie is. So there is a difference though between like being concerned and not wanting to be bothered, and being concerned and like knowing something's up, and you want
Right.
to like, right?
Right. You want to see if she's trying to hide something by rushing him forward.
There's hide something with concern, and then there's hiding something like I don't want to get caught. There's two
Yep,
different
yep.
kinds. And
Yep.
those are distinct.
Yeah, that's pretty subtle, but let's see what you can determine with your psychology or detective.
I don't have a detective, but maybe somebody else in
Oh.
the party. And I only
Oh,
rolled a-
that was if only
Norman.
This was Norman.
yeah, I rolled an 8, and I would against
She
the
just
6
seems
business.
concerned. Like she seems legit concerned.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, my husband, he is ill. I must get him to our room. Yes, to our room. No, it's not like that.
And when she screamed, she was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh yeah, that
like-
was legit. That was like, holy shit, kind of.
So it's not like how the Countess would react if the Count was to get elbowed.
I don't know what you're talking about. Henri made a roll for that too, and he thinks that she's clear. I mean, he's a lucky man for somebody of his age to have
But
such a
Jean
pretty
Claude
lady.
is very sure she's acting.
Jean Claude
it-
is very.
It takes one to know one, and he can spot the acting.
Oh no, my husband! Please don't keep hitting him. No.
Right, exactly.
No, don't stop yet. Okay.
All right. Josh, Jacob, and David may actually recognize this green shawl I'm wearing.
Hey, you look like the guy on the train.
Yeah, exactly. I do look like the guy on the train. This is, in fact, the shawl that I was picturing. This is the shawl. Remember when you came over to Amy's in Malvern and we were playing the game
Oh,
with the goblin? Remember, and like the Roman
Yeah.
guys? And I was freezing to death. I had, I was
Yeah.
coming down with something or whatever. This is the same shawl.
all right.
Yep, believe it or not.
Are you on Black Lotus?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You take it by rubbing it on your eyeballs.
Right, exactly.
It's a little different than other stuff.
Or what's that in Cowboy Bebop? You have to hold the thing up and have the needle inject you in the eye.
Oh,
Red eye.
the red eye. Yeah.
It's pretty heinous.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's worth
No,
it.
there's no way. All right. The other thing they determined, Dave, is they are doing a rotation on watching guns in Butcher's compartment. So basically, Butcher will just keep moving to whatever compartment is the person who is sitting and watching the guns. They're going to do a 2-hour shift. And if at any point we neglect to say who's going to watch the guns, then it's Callum, because Callum can't do shit anyway. So, or Foo. They said Foo. That's the other option. But
do we
there's really
wanna
only
leave
space for one
Fu-
person.
Fu could actually wield a gun if he really wanted to shoot us.
It's possible.
He knows Kung Fu.
That is my
It's a
uncle's
sister.
name.
Yeah, right.
Right. Of course, I know him.
And his neighbor Wing Chun.
Yeah, exactly. Did I tell you I started an online Wing Chun program?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I started an online Wing Chun program. It's mindful Wing Chun, which is fascinating.
Interesting.
Yep, mindful, not as part of like the mindfulness movement, but as in it's like soft Wing Chun, where you pay attention to your internal state.
Single
like
X, not triple.
Say that again.
Nah, single X, not triple. Like
Yeah,
softer.
exactly.
Aha. Okay.
And it's from Chushong Ting. Well, it's his lineage, and
I
he
don't
was
know who that
Yven's oldest student. So his longest term student. Basically, he's the one who stuck with the program the longest, and he basically told them at the very beginning, do Silden Tao, the first form, as gently as possible, And so he just went and he did over and 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 over again. And it produced some really interesting biomechanical changes. So I'm finding it fascinating. I was looking for a good online program because there's nobody in the area that I wanted to practice with. And they are both affordable and high quality material that you can actually grow with and has made me appreciate Wing Chun more than I did in the past because I tried it twice before and I hated it, even though I should have liked it and I didn't. I really hated it. Now I understand it better because this is something that I was looking for. And they're really, really nice guys. And there's like a whole Facebook group and
Yeah, cool.
and you get 2 weeks of free training in Hong Kong if you can get your ass over there every year. So not that I'm going to be able to get to Hong Kong, but nonetheless,
Right.
yeah, it's worth doing. It's pretty cool. And I need somebody to practice with.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, how about that?
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends.
It's also convenient because it takes up literally zero space. There's only six.
I'm a fan of zero space and zero
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah. There's only 6 forms in the whole system. And I think like the biggest one, you take like 3 steps forward and that's like the last one you learn. Like all of them, they're basically all done in place. It's pretty interesting. I would not have thought it was interesting years ago. It's definitely.
I feel like I was doing that a little bit at MKA. Is that true,
It's-
Carlson? Are they doing that there?
There's a Wing Chun school in Drexel Hill, but it's
Like on Saturdays, I think we did it.
what's his name? Well, you guys would have done MK. He does small circle jiu-jitsu and
Yeah.
eskrima. They mix in with the Dillman.
Eskrima, he didn't call it that. The
Arnis, they called it.
Yeah, Arnis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's eskrima. It's not.
But we
That's
were
what
doing
I called it.
You screama, he screama. We all screama for ice cream. So the thing we did something on Saturdays where we did these like 10 movements and they were a kung fu based thing.
Huh.
Or Chinese kind of thing. It wasn't.
Huh.
And I thought it was Wing Chun, but
It's like, was it all like standing still and
yep.
this kind of? Yeah, well, that's.
Yeah. But I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while. Anyway, whatever. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'd be maybe interested in that.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, even in my cluttered small house, I can find space to do it, which is very, very convenient. And it's not like I'm not doing the Polish saber and the Zhou Pao. I'm still doing that. And Russian stuff, as empty hand in that class. But I need to do something for, personal growth as opposed to swinging weapons around and just beating the crap out of people. Which also, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of personal growth in that.
Yeah. You absorb their essence and their energy.
Right, exactly.
Especially if you like murder them, take off their head.
Learned about that in New Zealand.
Okay. So anyway,
I literally studied martial arts with cannibal tribesmen.
I studied cutting off people's heads in New Zealand.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I did. In fact, I have with a sharpened Paua shell.
Were they at least homeless?
What good would that be?
You need a high-powered person.
Right, exactly. From their standpoint, that's absolutely true.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you steal their. Well, they wouldn't say steal. They would say rightfully claim their mana. But it has a whole. There's layers and layers to it. It's really
Evil.
Yeah. There's a reason I don't do that anymore.
Good.
Yep. And they're not actively eating people that I'm aware of anymore, but like
Just
their
on weekends.
grandparents
Oh,
either
really?
ate people or saw people who eat people. Yeah. Yep.
Long pig is delicious.
Yep. Mine was limited to my one friend, my teacher, saying like, "Oh yeah, when we have our traditional feasts," and I was at some of their traditional feasts, but they didn't have one of their most traditional foods is this brown rat that they would bring as a food animal.
Oh, that's
on
even
their-
worse. I
their
don't know
ships.
if I'd rather eat a brown rat or a person.
Yeah, but apparently they're really tasty, and it's not like they're like like eating like feces or something like that. They're like keeping them as food animals.
That's dessert.
And they said, but it's very hard to get them. They only eat them in like Tonga or Samoa.
Wow.
I think it's like Tonga maybe now, and they would have to import them. And so they were like, yeah,
No,
they didn't,
thank you.
makes you wonder what our Tupuna, their ancestors, makes you wonder what it tasted like.
I feel like
And
being
then-
born in the 20th century, we really missed out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like they were eating
Thankfully.
people literally like when my grandparents were born. They were
That's
still doing
so
that.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
So weird.
Just not in as large volume as in a few decades before that. But it was still happening. And they were still fighting duels even when I was there. Yeah. But then they would look wistfully and there's like, yeah, you wonder what some things our ancestors tasted like. And they would look wistfully,
And you.
And they're like, have
I
another,
was off
potato, Randall.
I was off the
Fatten you
menu.
up.
I was off the menu. I was a toady. I was a guest. So
How many
Yeah.
more minutes until he's not a guest?
I was officially part of the tribe for the duration of my
That's
my
pretty
stay,
wild. That's cool.
which also meant I had all the obligations of the tribe, which when the enemy tribe came, which they did, then that included having to defend the marae. So, and that's a whole another story. And I saw actual berserkers, like actual berserkers, and I did the war dance, and I was like on the edge of it myself. So I can tell you when they talk about berserkers, now I know what that means. So that's a whole nother. There's many stories involved in that.
That's the next module.
Yeah, I based the orcs in the D&D game I ran with Josh and Jacob and Dave on the Maori. So they would come in the middle of the night, and they'd do a haka while they're coming in to burn your village and eat you.
And they were pretty dangerous for orcs.
Yeah, they were a few scales up from your typical orcish interpretation. You guys still dealt with them pretty handily. But I remember that fight in that burning village. That was a tough one.
Yeah,
They weren't
forget
near
we
as
were
bad
at-
as the kobolds.
Kobolds are
Kobolds are feisty.
What were you gonna say, Dave?
I forget. We were pretty low level
Yeah,
at that point. Yeah,
yeah. That was really the key.
freaking kobolds.
Oh,
Tigers.
kobolds. Yeah. Kobolds can swim. That was the big. They're very, very good at swimming. That was the big reveal. Once they got through that natural defense and up over the wall of stakes and into the town, and then it was bad news. Bad news all around. All right. Anyway, not like anything like that could happen in this world. No, there's no silly things like that. There's just a sickly guy that you almost knocked down. So do you let her get her husband out of the dining car unmolested?
Well, that depends on Spencer, the molesting part.
As
But
soon as we hit a tunnel, then
we
we'll
just
do it.
kidnap him.
Then we'll do it. No, I think so, right? And then maybe I propose like later on that
I think we can let him
Spencer
go.
goes and knocks on the door and kind of charismatically forces his way in and says, I don't know,
All right, very well.
maybe. Don't you think?
All right.
You guys agree or
Sells him some Bibles.
You will let me doctor you, or I'm gonna cut you.
I'm gonna cut you.
You could wait until they're out of their room again and go look for either Black Lotus or opium and try and figure out if it really
to
is
determine?
Black
Yeah,
Lotus.
good. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian could probably
Sure.
get in there pretty easily.
I'm sure they have a supply on hand.
Yeah.
Actually, their room might even smell like it if he's been
If it's smoking,
Well, it depends on if he's drinking. I guess not.
he could. Yeah, he could be just doing the sugar cube thing.
Or just chewing it.
Chewing
Okay.
those.
Alrighty. So what's the plan? You guys are, I almost said docked, stopped in Salzburg. Do you do the same thing where you have somebody out on the train platform while people are coming and going?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, who's out?
Jean Claude can go this time. He didn't go last stop.
What time is it now?
I believe it's 1 o'clock.
Okay. And I'll stay sleeping because I figure I'm just gonna start doing more of a night shift thing.
Okay.
Works well for my for Howard's natural need to be in the dark.
Okay, so make a roll, Jean-Claude.
Six.
You see no one of particular note, which is not to say that there aren't people getting on or off the train, but no one that you currently know, and no one of particular note.
Okay.
Okay, and then you guys are back on the train and off on the way to Vienna for Westbahnhof station at 5:50. So that's 10 to 6. What would you guys like to do in the afternoon?
Russian-speaking folks mentioned Vienna.
Yes, they did.
Guess probably just go hang in the salon.
Get your hair done.
Yeah,
They say
my
no.
nails get a little mani pedi.
Okay.
And I'll try and keep an eye out and see if Elizabeth leaves the room at all, or if it's just her and her husband stay in the room the entire time, or if
Okay.
anybody goes in there.
Okay. That would require walking back and forth from the salon car, which is the last car on the train.
Yeah, I
So-
figure I'll get a drink and then just kind of like walk like I have been, I guess.
Very well. Anybody else, anything in particular? Otherwise, I'll presume that you're in your rooms.
I'll update Spencer and anyone else interested of my jobs I've been doing.
Okay. Well, since Spencer's not here, is there anyone else you would like to?
I think Jean-Claude is the only other one that seemed so interested. So
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna spin up a breakout room for you two guys.
hopefully I can-
Jobs?
Nothing.
Brian's working wait staff now. You didn't know?
Okay.
He's making some little money on the side.
I continue to check my wallet. I mean, that's like ongoing. I moved the mousetrap to my other pocket.
Conspicuously, every time you see like the groups of people on the train, there's like one person missing and just consistently one less person.
Okay. So, does anybody else have any other plans until you get to Vienna?
No, Vienna was 5:15. You said.
10 to 6. Yeah, 5:50.
I figure I'll get up then.
Okay.
Get up, you'll wake up.
Very well.
I figure we're on a moving train, so
That's what I would do in real life.
Keeping watch that I can just basically turn myself into being nocturnal, and we're good. Eat breakfast and dinner, and then have like possibly a snack at the salon car or something overnight, and I can just keep an eye on what's going on at night.
Okay.
Because you never know when something's gonna happen at night.
So after lunch and before my shift with watching the crates,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go and root around in Peter's room.
In Peter's room.
Yeah.
Okay. After your shift with the crates, at what time?
Well, actually, I haven't figured out when
Yeah.
my shift with the crates is. So it kind of depends on that.
Right. You guys can pick. It's 2-hour shifts.
Does anybody want to do that with me, or
Otherwise, we're presuming it's Callum until somebody says no. I go in and I sit a shift. You know.
and when I mean this, I mean like root around somebody's room. I don't mean watch the crates.
Ah.
No. I think you got it.
I'm willing to be lookout for you, but I don't want to get caught in somebody's room.
I mean, I'm not good at breaking in. I'm just.
I do want to take a shift on watching the guns.
All right. When would
But I
you like
don't-
to be there?
I don't know. I'm a little confused about when.
Basically, they just said there'd be 2-hour shifts, and then nobody ever really picked one. So, and since Sean's not here, we said, well, Callum will be in there. You know, that can
Right,
let
right.
Butcher
I'll
wander
take the
around.
first 6 shifts.
Right, exactly. We said we could do 12-hour shifts,
Yeah.
at least for Callum.
Just if anything important happens with the guns, we're on watch. One of us.
You want me to paste the contents of the crates? Does
Sure.
that matter? Does that matter for anybody?
If anybody likes to see it, that's fine.
If people are looking in the crates. I'm just gonna stick it in the room if I can find it. Let's see what this looks like. It's probably gonna be terrible. Oh, that's not bad.
Now, what car is the room that he's going to poke around in?
It's in the same car.
Yeah,
right?
it's in your guys'
Oh,
car.
okay, all right.
Piotr's room is in your guys' car.
All right. I'll take a shift on the guns while he's doing that.
Okay.
I'll
When
be
he still hasn't
awake.
told me when he's going to do that, though.
Right. And that,
But I get it.
yeah.
So if you're doing next shift, then I'll do it after lunch.
Do you know if he's in his room or not?
I don't.
So you're just going to kick the door in and going guns
No.
blazing?
Do I know where he is right now?
Freeze down
Have we
under the
seen him
door?
on the?
No, at lunchtime, you guys only saw the Count and Countess.
You could probably do it at dinner time. I mean, if he shows up.
I have a date.
Blow her off. You gotta search
That's
a
true. I
man's
could
room.
actually. I don't mind doing that. All right, I'm not going to press this. I don't have enough. Whatever to.
Chutzpah,
Yeah, that or
balls.
skills.
If you wanted to, you could just hang out in the Swan car, and then if he shows up, just go to his room.
Yeah,
You can touch
I'll do
base
that.
with Brian to see which rooms he's already ransacked. Also,
that's true. You know what? I will.
and it
talk
may
to
have been
Brian
that
about
room.
that. I'll try to grab a couple of people and just like discuss the idea of rummaging around.
Okay, who are you going to discuss the idea with?
Probably the 2 guys that just returned.
Wait, there's an idea?
I was just talking about rummaging around Piotr's room.
Oh, you want to go into the Count and Countess's the Countess's
Den of
boy toys
iniquity.
room.
Yes,
Lion's Den.
or their room, really. I mean, if they're not there, although Really, any
mean-
room that's empty of anybody that we don't know. I think it's basically what we're talking about here.
Wow.
Not saying I'm going to steal anything. I just want to look. I wanna
Nigel,
know.
do you speak Arabic?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Randall, I hand over to Nigel the title that I wrote down, or at least the best I could of that book I found.
Okay.
So it seemed Arabic. I don't know. So it doesn't have to
Right.
be done. But if you want to send something.
And let's see. It would be called. Give me just a moment. Can I I'll message once to you, Brian. Are you on Brian or Brian too? You see them both?
Yeah. So on the computer, I do have the chat open. So
Okay.
Which
So
one's that?
I'll message you and I'll message you Dave as well.
Okay.
Why am I not seeing your character in the I don't see Nigel in the chat.
Huh.
Oh, there he is. He just popped up. Okay. So I'll message the both of you. The title is okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to know too, Jean-Claude?
I would love to know.
Do you tell him, Brian?
yeah, I'll tell him. Although you'll have to message him.
It's like otherwise it is gonna eat me up inside, not knowing what that book is.
There it is.
Nancy Drew's first mystery. That's what exactly.
May need you to go back in, Brian.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this going to be a to serve man situation?
Okay. So it's mid-afternoon. Anything happening before Westbahnhof station at Vienna?
Just me peeing in real life.
Very well.
Yeah, I'm gonna prep out a note for my man in Vienna.
Okay. What would you like to tell him?
Just that I'm stopping in, passing through. If he needs to reach me, I'll be in Constantinople.
Okay. I believe there is a 45-minute stop. Let me just check at the time here real
Yeah,
quick.
that's why when you were saying, I thought I could just pop off.
Yeah. It arrives Vienna 5:50. And then let's see, what's half an hour for that? Is 20, and then it's a half an hour stop. It's a half an hour stop at Westbahnhof.
Yeah, that's why I figured I couldn't get out to meet up with them or anything.
Right, but you could have a telegram sent.
Right, there's probably something at the station.
Absolutely,
or nearby.
absolutely.
So-
And these are central stations in the middle of Vienna. So I mean, we're talking the full-on Victorian, lacy ironwork, huge, tall, multiple train lines coming in. So, all right. So,
I meant to ask, can I don't know if there's enough. I don't know if I can tell from this title what Arabic
yes.
this is. I mean, I know there are dialects.
Yep.
Even in written form. And I'll let Brian and Jean-Claude know if I figure it out.
Okay. Give me just 1 sec.
Sure.
Fortunately, guys, I got to drop. I got up early this morning. I got to take the boys in school tomorrow. So
No worries, Jake. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Night, Jake.
Night.
It's in Masri.
Okay.
I'll type that out for you. All right. All right. So Jean-Claude, you were spending your time in the salon.
I was kind of getting a drink in the salon car and then kind of doing my like walking
Right.
rounds thing and listening in.
You in the middle of the afternoon, the young wife, Elizabeth, comes into the salon car, and she gets a drink and goes into the back corner of the salon car and basically just nurses her drink most of the afternoon, and you occasionally see a tear rolling down her face.
Okay. Nobody come. The Metcalf doesn't come in. Nobody.
No, Metcalf does not come in.
Now's when you sneak in with Spencer and heal the guy.
I don't know if that's a thing we can do at this point.
Spencer there?
Hello.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know where Spencer would be. I mean, he might be back in his room.
I would presume he's
To
back in his
kinda-
room, just like Callum. If you're not here, your character stays as safe as possible, but also sadly does as little as possible.
Or he's just chatting up some other random lady.
Right. Hopefully she won't pull a derringer on him or something.
Or tentacles.
Right. Exactly. Or tentacles.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully
who's to
she
say
will.
who's to say what's as safe as possible?
Yeah.
Right.
How,
Right.
How safe is possible, really?
Right. Okay.
Especially if you're Spencer.
So all right. So about 10 to 6. The Orient Express. She pulls in to West Bahnhof Station in Wien. Where there will be a luxurious half an hour layover before a half an hour train ride to Zentralbahnhof Station in Wien. So basically just the center of the city. You're on the edge of the city now. Next stop will be the center of the city, and then we'll do a 45-minute layover. And then it's off to Budapest. So when you guys pull into Westbahnhof, what would you like to do? Malcolm, you get out to send your telegram?
Yeah, well, if the layover's longer at Central, I'll just wait for Central.
You wait for Central? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to do anything here in Westbahnhof?
I don't think so.
Buy all the tiny sausages we can.
Right, exactly.
How long's the layover?
Half hour here, 45 minutes in Central Bahnhof.
Do the Countess and Count and Piotr get off?
No.
How about the patient and Mrs. Patient.
Nope.
Does Metcalf or any of his guys, do they make an appearance anywhere? Or are they staying in their room?
Do you walk past their room?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's two rooms, one for Mencalf. And it's not Metcalf, it's Mencalf.
Metcalf.
And one for the other two gentlemen.
It's like a minotaur.
Yeah, make a roll for each one.
He's a man
Okay.
calf.
Got a 5 for the first one. And a 7 for the second.
Okay. Let me type something to you.
Seems to be like this.
Sorry, I'm gaming. Okay, so while you're doing that, anybody else want to do anything at Westbahnhof Station?
Nah, I think
What about the reporters? Are they hanging?
Uh,
And Prussian.
Eileen, you have not seen her this afternoon. She's probably resting.
She's getting ready for a
Um,
big date. It's understandable.
Yeah, we're getting ready for her date. Yep, it's possible.
Mhm.
And Bentley Burnham, you have not seen him either.
What about the Prussian?
He is in the salon car now. You see him stretch his legs on the platform. Make a roll, a psychology roll for me.
Vienna.
Was that 2?
9? Oh,
No.
was that who was that for?
I
I rolled a 9.
I got a
It
9.
was for me.
Y-
We
y-
both
it
rolled
was-
9s.
Yeah, that was for John, and you got a 9, John.
Yeah, against a 5.
Psychology of
Psychology 5, business 6, if it matters.
psychology 5. Okay. And you got a 9.
Mhm.
So you see him go out on the platform and basically just walk up and down the platform a little bit and stretch before getting back on the train.
You looking around like as if he's expecting somebody, or
That's what the roll was for.
Oh.
So that's what you saw.
You completely missed the guy giving him a thermonuclear device on the platform.
Right, exactly.
he doesn't meet with anybody though.
He does not. And pardon me, I'm doing searches while I'm talking to you guys. So that was the Prussian gentleman you were asking for.
Yes.
Yep. Anybody else? All right. Then after a half an hour layover, the train.
Did you see my messages?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did not. I'm looking at like 12 screens all at the same time. Ah. Okay. Make 2 rolls. First one for the first question,
Then
and then there's a follow-on.
Okay. Got a 4 for the first one
Mm-hmm.
and a 7 for the second. Okay. I'm gonna get Howard and Butcher and ask them to come with me.
Okay. Would you like a breakout room?
I'm just gonna have them come to where I am, but can
Do you want me to, Josh? Do you want me to just?
yeah,
walk
actually, Jacob.
upstairs
I could
since,
just Jacob can come
like,
upstairs.
logged off?
Like,
Okay, very well. Yeah, why don't you do that?
I'll
Yeah.
just meet him in the hallway and fill him in, but he's gonna come and
Because
see
I
what
would.
he.
Yeah, because I woke up. I would be getting up around now.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah. So
I'll
you're just gonna
nab
go
him.
get Howard and get Butcher, and in
And
real
have-
life, you're gonna go meet them, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be back, Jacob.
All right.
I'll meet you in the hallway.
Okay, then. As the group dwindles. So
IRL breakout room, huh?
yeah, exactly. A real life breakout room.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the trains, it spools up some steam and ting 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 and begins its slow paced and yet still only half an hour long journey to Central Bahnhof station. And we should probably pause there until Josh and Jacob come back, because they're doing something while while that's happening. Okay.
All right, I filled him in.
So you guys go
to
there. Yeah. All right.
Completely inconspicuous.
All right. I'm
Could
gonna
have really thrown us off and switch computers.
Right. Exactly. I'm going to.
Should we just do this?
I'm gonna
as
spin up a room here real quick.
Okay.
Howard, how do I move to room 2? How do you get rid of a room? Oh, there it is. There we go. All right, I'll be right there.
So who are we most curious about on this train? The gal and her sick husband?
Yeah, well, that's why I already broke into their compartment. So
Oh, did you?
yeah, There are no, they didn't have any obvious apothecary bottles, things like that. He seems to have a very voracious appetite. Like there were two
Ah.
devoured capons in his
That's
room.
indicative of a parasite there.
Exactly.
Uh.
That's interesting. What is Black Lotus? I wonder.
In that book, Dave, that you
Yeah.
that title
It's
that was
Egypt.
in their room.
Right, and it's
was
Egyptian in
anything-
origin.
You know, Egypt. So it is Egyptian. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Arabic, but yeah, that's fine.
So
Well,
they
no,
had
I
it-
mean it's
in it-
it's Egyptian Arabic. That's what I
Oh,
mean. That's what
Egyptian.
I mean. Yeah.
Right, so it wasn't actually ancient Egyptian. Anything like that.
No, it's Egyptian Arabic.
what's the book about?
Don't know. It's in
Don't know
Arabic.
yet.
Is there a title, or like is it just like a handwritten book, or
The Whispers of the Stone was what the title was. That's what I copied
Yeah.
down, and then
oh,
Nigel
okay.
played it.
I mean, did you want me to read it?
I mean, I can get it if you want, but yeah.
I see. It's a title that you. Okay, you don't have the book.
It was in
scribbled
their
it down.
room, and I figured, yeah, they would miss it if it were
Oh,
gone.
okay.
So
Was it like a it was like a bound book, like a
Yeah.
like a printing press book.
properly bound,
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
tucked
Would you-
away in their luggage, so it's not out in the open. So
Would you do a rubbing of the title?
I probably either I did a rubbing or I just traced it whatever which way I could have done it
Yeah.
quick enough.
Huh. The Whispering Stone.
The Whispers of the Stone.
Was it an old book? Like physically old, or
I'd have to ask Randall. If,
Well, it wasn't ancient Egyptian writing. It was Arabic. But
what I mean is
still,
like was the
it could
book
still
like
be old, but
was it
Yeah.
was it printed like 5 years ago or like 100 years ago, or
yeah, I would have to
that
see
kind of
if
thing.
Randall had those type of details. So
And maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, that's so the
So
Sunai
did we find anything else new about the people's Peter and
I don't think so. Not since
Okay.
yeah,
last
nothing
game.
yet.
all right.
So, but Bentley Burnham seems to be the ask him for any updates. That's kind of why he's on the train. He's kind of a paparazzi of sorts, following them specifically.
Right. Whereas the Scottish girl, she's
Just a
I
pain in
don't
the neck.
just political kind of stuff. Maybe. Although she speaks fluent French, which is kind of strange, but maybe it's not.
Be interesting if you mention the name Otto Luger to her to see how she reacts. But
Who's Otto Luger?
so when we found the address book of the Prussian agents, that was one of the names in there who is residing in Scotland now.
The
Oh.
Prussian agents, those two guys, those two Sunai
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
What else was in those books?
Well, the address book specifically had just a couple of names of Edward Healy, Heiligoland locations, August Dubois, Otto Luger, and John Miner. Are the only names that really came out.
Okay. Oh, hold on a second. I don't think I wrote that down. So
I did.
Otto Luger,
Yeah.
like Auguste Dubois, who is obviously Mabuse. Right? Who else?
Yep. Edward Healy, who was mentioned in the journals. His name. He's associated with Heiligoland somehow. There was
Okay.
a bunch of Heiligoland locations in London, Hamburg, and St. Petersburg.
Right.
And then John Miner, an address in London.
JOHN, or you don't know?
I don't know. Well, yeah, JOHN. That's how I spelled it, at least.
And there's no they were just written in the like a little
Their address
notebook
book,
kind of.
yeah, that was their address book that they
Oh,
had.
with addresses.
Yeah, at least all what I have. So John Miner is just London. Otto Luger is the Orkney Isles in Scotland.
Oh,
At the Prince Regent Hotel with a telephone number, actually, is what I have noted.
Okay, so he's the reason why that orb is in Scotland.
And that also lines up with where I think was it one of the satellites might have been in that relative location.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the one of the orbs, the gun orbs,
Yeah.
was definitely there. Well, probably there.
It's either that or that's where one of the ley lines comes across to. Like that location is
Or both, right?
Yeah.
Edward Healy's. You have an address for him? City?
Yeah, in London. And he was the one that I think adopted the girl. It might have been the woman with the crystal and then gave birth to a young girl. And then Edward
Right.
Healy, I think, adopted her, if I recall that journal.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Let me see.
And he was, he worked or is somehow associated with Highland Land business.
The Marana Club. Edward Healy passed away. Elizabeth Mortimer died in childbirth. Husband passed away. Okay. And then John Minor's what?
John Minor, just London. I didn't have any other info on him, or I just have John Minor, London.
And you just got this out of the just like on their person, they had the one of them had a address book or
that's
something.
part of what of the stuff they had in there. Probably was in their trunk or in their room when we went.
So she's from Scotland. Should we ask her about Otto Luger?
Sure.
I mean, the fact that she has Augusta Bow, and what does she have written with connection with him, like an address or a number? Oh, I guess there's no number.
No,
but-
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's one of the 9 on the ship, you know, we've got Roborov and Zod, and then possibly Moriarty, although we really don't know anything about him. Although we could ask her, maybe she knows. Maybe these other names are also. I mean, they're probably Sunai guys, right?
Most likely, but yeah.
Why would Edward Healy be listed though? Rana Club. Why do I have that written down? Edward Healy was mentioned in the case 17, the cursed Lady Winter. Elizabeth Mortimer was a distressed woman. Yeah, pregnant. Elizabeth perished in childbirth. She had a healthy baby girl who looked after by her cousin, Edward Healy of the Heligoland Company. And this is in 1886. So what year are we? 1891. So the kid's 15-ish. I mean, Heligoland's obviously like a front for the Sunai, right?
There's obviously so yeah, definitely a connection between them. So
All right, so I have Tim. I don't know if you were on, but I like met with her. She like, you know, kind of was asking me about that Armenian stuff, and then I said I kind of put her off a little bit, pushed her off a little bit, and said, "Hey, how about we meet later for like, you know, drinks or dinner or whatever in the salon car, and you can ask me what you want about the Armenians." And she knew my name. I don't know if you knew that. She dressed me
Okay.
as Mr. Marcel, so whatever that means, I don't know.
And that's assuming, I mean, you actually have been going under the pseudonym of your John Joe?
Yeah, I have been. Although it hasn't come
Like-
up a lot.
How did we buy our tickets? Were they
With-
under our actual names?
yes.
or- Okay.
With a pseudonym.
With the pseudonym. Okay.
The names I haven't used my real name at all on the train or anything connected with the train. So she knew, but she's like, oh, but Randall was saying, well, you're sort of wealthy, and she's been in Paris for the past couple of weeks, so she probably heard about, she did hear about the explosion in the
No, you got your facility.
the facility. So I guess
Does she know where the Albedo is? Or
I should ask her. I will. She'll probably be like, yeah, but I'm not telling you, you jackass.
And the other guy, that Mencalf, somehow
Yeah.
connection to Cairo himself. So Nigel, that might be an intro to you. Was he had mentioned it?
Yeah.
So are these guys like the guys from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade that ride around on the boats?
No, those were technically good guys. I get the feeling these might be bad guys.
But they had fezzes, didn't they?
Yes, they did, but they were protecting the True Grail.
All right, well, these guys are the anti version of that, maybe. I don't know.
They might want to see the Black Pharaoh, come back. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, who wears a fez? I mean, really, unless you're in a club. So,
Or Doctor Who.
right. You have to be a weirdo, basically, is what I'm saying.
Or Shriners.
John Minor. I wonder if Otto Luger is one of the 9 guys. Or people. I shouldn't say guys.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right.
Randall, we figured out who John Minor is.
John Minor.
Okay, Randall doesn't know who he is. So never
No.
mind. That was bait. I was baiting him.
You have no idea who that is.
All right, he's not one of the 7 or whatever.
Who? Did I tell you that name before?
Yeah. Yes.
Who was he supposed to be?
We don't know. He was in.
We don't know.
In a notebook.
Is he in the
Oh.
journals?
No.
No.
You can
it was in the
retcon so
Prussian
that he is.
agent's address book.
Oh.
Can't be
Oh, I
too
forgot
important.
about him.
He's
was
not
he,
important.
he was in the Prussian agent's address book
Well, he wasn't
From-
important, but now he's going to be really important.
from the hotel.
Yeah, Randall's gonna be like, "Fuck you guys! I'm gonna make
Okay,
him the
no,
next one."
I know who he is.
He's gonna have like force field and like ray gun and a lightsaber and a disc of death, blood gem.
Surprise! I'm Nemo's boss, John Minor.
Yeah, exactly. you never know who you're going to run into. All right.
John Minor, the Cthulhuid horror. But I think over the next 10 minutes, Howard and Jean-Claude are going to go and just inform everyone of what just happened.
All right, very well.
All
Oh,
of
no.
us of
Oh,
what just
no.
happened.
You're just going to work your way around the train, go to the salon car, go knock on
Knock
people's
on doors,
doors.
be like,
Go right-
excuse me, no, it's fairly important.
We're
Right to the
interviewing
Romanovsky's
the
room.
sick couple.
Did you know that there's a wizard aboard?
So
Wait,
go
what?
ahead, guys. As you find everybody in their rooms or various things in the half an hour on the trip to Central Bahnhof.
So Jean-Claude was doing his walk up and down the cars thing, and when he passed by Mencalf's room, he started to hear chanting. But
That's never good.
it was definitely an Atlantean, but
Oh,
he didn't hear any Sunai's thing. So he went to get Howard because Howard could then listen in and actually like understand what he was saying. And we did our little routine. Basically, I distracted the porter for in there, the conductor, and Howard listened in. And we heard the repetitive chanting of "By the heart of stone, with the power of stone, with the eyes of stone, show me the path to power." And it repeated that, and then show to me what I seek. And then there was like a pained, like a little bit of a pained, at which point,
Basically, drawing your own blood.
yeah. And so Howard then, like, it was basically to the conductor, like, I think someone's hurt in there. Please, I think it might be in there. So the conductor knocked on his door, and Metcalf answered the door, like, a bit disheveled and visibly clenching his hands to probably we're assuming to stop from bleeding, and was very upset with us for having disturbed him.
In his afternoon siesta.
his afternoon
back in
nap.
5 minutes.
Should have asked him, could I borrow a copy of Whispers of the Stone?
Yeah, exactly. I lost my copy of Whispers of the Stone.
And so that's so he's definitely Atlantean, and he's doing some magic. And
I don't think he trusts me.
he doesn't. I don't think Jacob. I don't think he trusts either of us, any of us, really.
Why ever not?
I seem to have been in his way this entire time. And then Brian and Nigel, is it okay? Have you told anybody about the book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was discussing it. Yeah.
Okay. So then, they're definitely up to something, and they're wizards. There's a So Jacob was thinking maybe the bloodstone.
Yeah. My first thought was because he's chanting about stones.
Do we
words
remember what she did? What it was written for? How she did? Did she say anything? Like in the journals, did it talk about her doing anything to say anything when she did the seeing, her scrying?
Well, was that with the stone?
I don't think so.
The stone was. I thought this. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but I thought the stone was just Brand doing.
It was
thing.
Brand, but it was the lady was that they watched. They got it from the German stranger lady, and she had done a ceremony with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if they had said anything about if she had said anything.
What was that? Which journal was that?
If basically just to see if it's a similar ceremony. But either way, this guy's a wizard. Probably should interrogate / kill him. I don't have reason to believe he's part of the Sunai at this point, but there's a lot of different factions in play right now. And they're all looking for the same thing, and the talk of power leads me to believe he may be trying to find the heart. I don't know what that has to do with the sickly dying man.
Well, unless he's a wizard doing something that has completely nothing to do with us, he just happens to cross our paths and we make everything worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's eating for two, so he's harboring a parasite.
That's actually a kind of entirely possible.
Unless his skin's all taut, he could be the mummy that was brought back to life.
But then why is his wife so sad?
Because
she was happy he was a mummy?
He's faking it.
Oh, wait a minute. Henry
People can't be happy or sad. What is that?
Wait, say that again.
Edward
Is it John?
Healy, Edward Beesby. I'm just reading the Blood Gem journal entry, which was one of those ones where we had to write it down as you were saying it, so it's like a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the name. I am Major Henry Beesby, formerly Her Majesty's Rifles. But that's similar sounding to Edward Healy. Oh, maybe not.
Was Beesby the guy that Brandt killed, thinking he was the Ripper?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is
he
that guy,
directed
then
him into
wow.
a nearby alley. The police found
Yeah.
Moran shot dead with 2 wounds. Police didn't mention it. Captain Charity was there with Hudson when Captain
Yeah.
Charity took the wrong cane by accident. As he leaves, Brandon Hudson decide not to use that ritual ever again. The German crystal is interred in the fireplace.
And then from then on, we tried to use the ritual.
Well, obviously, it's forbidden magics.
Crystal has yet again proven its dark nature and has misled me, unless it is because of the association of Colonel Moran with Moriarty and N as in Nancy or Namdok or Nincompoop, whatever.
Or Nemo,
Or,
I think,
or
at
Nemo.
this point.
Right. Yeah,
But-
right.
But yeah,
I got Moriarty must be. He must be.
so I'm thinking we've got like, I mean, we were definitely on the like keep a watch on this guy, but we may need to talk to him at the
Yeah,
edge of a gun.
At least now have like an occultist kind of presence.
Or next time he's out of his room, Brian, you want to go for a little adventure?
Sure.
So what do you guys want to do to so just whatever, if you guys want to find out about the gem, whatever, it was case 23. I don't know if anybody has notes on that. But what do you guys want to do with Mancalf when you find him?
I mean,
Find out why he's here.
Oh, I was just gonna say we
If
could
he's-
stab him.
If he's looking for the heart of Ahriman as well, if that's the power thing that he's looking for, then if we can find out what he's using, we can take it. I don't necessarily think he's going to work with us, but at the very least, it'll give us an idea of if he is. I don't know exactly what power he's looking for, but that's the big thing that I can think of, is that he might be looking for the heart of Ahriman as well.
So these guys are Atlantean and not Sunai. Those are distinct, right? Do we
We
know
can't
that for
rule-
sure?
We can't rule out them not being Sunai thing.
We have the
Um,
ring. I'm like, I got the ring on.
Maybe it's a terrible decision, but I could
No.
try to talk to him in Atlantean. Just like
You're like, yo,
I just
dog,
go
what you
in the car and
doing?
just walk up and be like, "Hello, how
You've
you
been
doing?"
trying to
Completely in
call
Atlantean and see what the
me.
heck happens.
I'm
and see what happens.
here.
Just walk past him, saying just like Sunaj, Sunai. Just
Oh
keep
my
on going.
gosh. Knock on the door and be like, you rang.
Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra. How's that?
Exactly.
Anyone? No?
We could pay one of the guys to go knock on the door and say Sunaj Sunai and see what happens.
And then we snicker like school children while hiding behind a door or something.
He's gonna
Ask-
say it.
Ask him if he likes her. My friend really likes you.
By the way, we
But
just
we
keep
may
an
want-
eye on him.
we could
And
try
the end
inviting
of
him to dinner and see if we can just talk to him. Basically, do like we got off on the wrong foot. We got another day on this train. Don't want to have enemies on it. Let's talk, and I won't shoot you in the face.
Okay, so
I lied.
we've got Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. Smith. I don't know what her name is.
Nobody asked her last name. They just know she's Elizabeth.
Her name's Elizabeth.
So we have Elizabeth and her husband, who's
Yeah,
sick but not totally infirmed. Definitely like on something. But Brian searched the room and didn't find any Black Lotus or
Or
opium.
prescribed
no
medication.
prescriptions or anything.
no drugs of any sort or no.
I looked
anything.
for apothecary bottles, things like that. I didn't find anything obvious. So it's either well hidden or I just didn't find any.
So
it's
he's
magic.
affected by something. Mancalf is trying to what's the term? Oh my gosh.
Like divination type stuff are you looking for?
No, he's trying to like assuage her fears, like
Yeah. Console her a little
console her, right? And she's concerned, but doesn't seem to feel like anything's like weird necessarily. So like what's this guy's connection? Is he is he like channeling like some sort of like weird entity when they're doing these like rituals? Like is he like the vessel that this thing is coming through? Maybe he's like one of the how the seven had like a being inside them. Maybe the Atlanteans have, or this guy has got some kind of creature inside him, and as they chant it.
Are you
I
suggesting
don't
that
know.
we jump Medcalf in his room and cut him open?
No, not Mancalf.
That's just what Jacob. That's just what Howard wants to do. Like
Naturally.
you can't gut everybody.
So what's the connection between the sick guy, the wife, Mencalf, and this chant? Like, who was in the room with them when they were chanting? Like, do we know how many?
It was just him.
Seems
I
to have just
think.
been him.
Although
Best we can. He didn't
it's not like
fully
he
open
the door fully.
He just
but
kind of like inched it open,
there
just
could
enough
have been someone else.
that he could talk.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think we need to either break into his room or literally just talk to the guy.
But aren't there other guys
he
with
can't-
fezzes?
There are, but they can't openly kill us on the train without making the rest of the train adversely affected to them. It
You
will
can just
stop
stop
the
the first part of that sentence.
It
They
will
can't
s-
kill us on the train because we'll kill them first.
It will stop the train and stop them getting to where they need to be if they attack us on the train.
Dude,
so I think we have some.
I'm not worried about any of these
it's
guys.
going
Have
to-
you seen what we've dealt with? We had like laser orbs after us.
I know. I died basically, and I'm alive again.
Well, it's
We
going to
have
be
an ass
murder on the Orient Express. It's
We'll
just
let
worth
another
a
ass
murder
balloon up.
victim, and everyone's going to be like, I don't know how the fuck this happened. His head's over there, body's over there, intestines everywhere.
Howard, you
can't
did
Some
this
animal
before.
came in here.
All
Get
I'm
that
saying
ass
is they
balloon
can't
and throw
murder
it into
all
the
of
next
us.
car. Let it expand and then shoot it with a lighter. See what happens.
Oh my gosh! I watched just
Gas
today. I watched
explosion.
a scientist was blowing up balloons that he had filled with hydrogen. He was as a science experiment.
What's
he was
his
doing
name?
them
Howard
outdoors.
Stitch.
And he blew up a balloon that was maybe, I don't know, like less than a quarter of the size of the what do you call them, weather balloon size thing that you guys had coming out of the ass balloon pack.
Ass balloons, yes.
And he's just standing there, and he's wearing his headphones, and each one had been getting louder and louder and louder. He's out in his backyard, out in the woods somewhere, and he's like, okay. And in slow mo, he detonates it, and it goes, like this, and then you hear this rumble, 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 rumble like this, and you just see him go and look over his shoulder. They
That's great.
knocked all the snow off their roof from like
God.
across his yard with
That's
a
great.
balloon that was like about this big, full of hydrogen, which is like easy less than a quarter of the size of the one that you set off. And apparently it rocked windows a mile away.
Oh my
Yeah, it did.
god!
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
And well, that's why our last ditch effort on this thing is we take if all else, like everything else goes poorly, we turn Murder on the Orient Express into Gas Explosion on the Orient Express.
Orient Express.
And we just
Instead of murder on the Orient Express,
if
it's
that
murder
doesn't
of-
work, we
Murder
go
of
air
the
fuel bomb.
Orient Express.
You guys have a great tradition of destroying trains that I have designed for.
yeah. And
We
so
could
far
be-
we've blown up something in every landmark we've been in, basically. So
Pretty much.
We could ask balloon one of these guys out of here too. Just go back to the caboose, inflate the balloon. and
Dude,
No
you want to
noise,
be
no
ass
blood?
ballooned or what?
he's just gone.
So Medcalf, I see you're a wizard. How about this magic, huh?
If you're good, we won't blow you up over Switzerland. That's awesome.
But basically, I'm not entirely convinced that he's an enemy yet, other than the fact that he has the most villainy name that could have ever possibly been villain named.
What, Hieronymus Mencalf?
Yeah. It's
Well,
like-
he could be. So, like, I was joking around about the Indiana Jones thing, but they were good guys. Maybe
The
he isn't.
Nazis?
No, the
No,
Pez guy.
no,
No,
I
in
know,
the
I know.
third,
The
in the
Last
third movie.
Crusade. The Nazis.
Yeah, they were good guys, John. We have you on tape now saying.
Fuck. I can't put this on YouTube. Oh, well.
Oh my gosh. I knew what you meant, John.
I said Indiana Jones. I didn't say whatever.
Right, there
Well,
were
I don't
good
even know
people
what I
on
said.
every side.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's the first one. Anyway, there's context if you rewind. Anyway, why am I
Yeah,
defending
They're
myself?
not.
This is
He's
stupid.
not necessarily against us right now. But if he's looking for the heart of Ahriman, he may be someone we can work with, or leech off of.
He could be good. Like he could be. It's as likely that he's good as he is bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Could electric gun him, put it to the lowest setting, tase him, and then drag him into our room.
Well,
you just
Hey,
We
Metcalf.
If we knew how to do the ceremony, we'd be trying it.
Yeah,
Sure.
100%.
what's the ceremony do?
You guys have already tried
I
to
don't
do
know.
things. You know?
Yeah. I'm just saying, just because he's doing that doesn't mean he's a bad.
There's been mask dancing, bull wearing, blood gemming.
Bloodletting.
Yeah, exactly.
Bloodletting. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think like next time that he's out of his room, if we can get in there and just see what he's up to.
He was certainly
Somebody-
speaking Atlantean, though.
Somebody hide in
Yeah.
there with the cloak of invisibility.
Is Atlantean what like Maboos and those guys speak, or is that
Yep.
something or
No, they
a
speak
variation of
Atlantean.
that? Okay,
That's how we learned it. Was
yeah.
the
I just wasn't
that
sure if it was
recording
exactly the
tape.
same. Okay, yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, the Maboos, like one night Atlantean course. You too can learn Atlantean
Yeah,
in one night of complete thrall to my will.
yeah.
You know,
It's the Maboozle fish.
exactly.
Huh.
I know Kung Fu.
Right, exactly. That's exactly where it was. Yeah, he's still in Hong Kong.
Oh, and this is you heard this while we were in Strasbourg.
Yeah,
He
this
Uh,
was like
at,
right as we were leaving
at the Westbahnhof in Vienna.
Vienna.
How long did it go on for?
I don't know when it started, but it was definitely since I ran into. So probably like, what would you say, like 2 minutes?
Yeah,
And Howard
at
didn't hear
least.
it.
Yeah, Howard only heard it for a few seconds. Yeah.
And you heard what he said, something about stone and whisper.
Yeah. Yeah, the chant of the stone.
Yeah. and
Which
we
if we
either caught
want-
the end of it or interrupted it.
Yeah, I kind of hope we interrupted it. I want to see how his reaction is.
Maybe we should try to
But-
grab the book and see what it says.
And that too, we could try it.
The book, this book, was that from his room?
It was from the Elizabeth and
The
her
couple's
husband's room.
Mm.
There was a book
Well-
called The Whispers of the Stone.
It,
In
written in Atlantean, right? Or
Was
no,
Arabic.
Egyptian.
Egyptian Arabic.
Egyptian Arabic, yeah.
Oh,
There's your connection between the two.
Well, yeah.
One of them. So
I
it-
say we
maybe-
get that book and see what's in it.
Maybe this is some kind of magic to keep him alive, because he seems pretty
Dying.
close to death.
Or to keep him contained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it might
It-
give us a context, like or something, a talking point, like something in that book. You could say, "Hey, we heard you talking about the stone
Now,
and the blah blah," like the fact, and then he'll be like, "What? You understood the language I was speaking, and you know about the stone?" And all
Yeah,
these things that were in that other book, like maybe, and that would build some trust or
Now we were told that in order to bring Ahriman
flash the
back,
ring.
you had to put his whatever, like his heart and which has his like consciousness into a simulacrum. What if this dude is the start of that? I could be. I'm probably like way reaching, but if they're trying to bring him back and use this guy's body,
Interesting thought, but I don't think
there's
we have enough.
no reason to
for
believe
that.
any of that. And there's, but
for all we know, he's some sort of Frankenstein's monster. So,
or he's a guy from Queens.
So we heard him saying a bunch of shit about stone. There's a book about
Yeah.
the whispers of the stone.
Yeah.
We don't know what either of those things mean. Maybe we should. I feel like we should try to get our eyeballs on the book, read what we can, and get a better idea of what that even means.
Yeah. Basically, then
So
what I'll do
that's-
is I'll start to watch. I'll keep an eye out and see when they leave their room, and then I can just kind of, if we see them somewhere outside of their room, just tip off Brian to go in there, get the book.
How thick was the book?
It was a small, like yay size, smaller than that, maybe even.
Like 50 pages or something?
Yeah, let's say no more than 100
Was it old?
of small, pardon?
Recently printed, recently bound, or the last 10 years, or 100 years, or 500 years?
It's on older paper, not that acidy, mass produced paper. But it is printed. It's not handwritten.
not bound in human flesh and inked in blood.
No,
Maybe 20 years old or something?
hard to tell. I would say older than that,
Okay.
like beginning of the 1800s,
Okay.
maybe late 1700s, probably beginning of the 1800s. Just based on the kind of binding and everything, not how would you know
was
what
it?
Arabic looked like.
Was it in her stuff or his stuff? Or does he even have stuff?
It was in his stuff.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit interesting. So he's weird, whacked out, not on any drugs that we can see, but acting like he's on drugs. Has a book about some kind of ancient weird shit that the dude next door is doing chants about in Atlantean.
More or
Okay.
less.
Right? Like that's
Yeah, it's to sum up.
I think they're all on the up and up, and we should focus more on that reporter.
yeah. She's cute.
That's what Spencer wants.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap. So
I gotta run. But if you need anybody else elbowed, I'm in.
All right.
Good night, Matt.
Night.
Hey,
Matt.
I have
yeah.
an early
Should probably-
vendor meeting
we
too.
should probably
so
all
What
wrap
time
up.
is it now? 12:09.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a decent.
Do we want to wrap it up here as just a having a, you guys are going to come up with a plan for what you're going to do?
I guess. I think we
Let's-
want to like when they leave, get the book, read what we can,
See what we can.
Okay.
or just keep it, or do we want to just try to keep it? That seems dangerous, but
So by about now, you guys are pulling into the Zentralbahnhof in Vienna. And Malcolm, you are getting out to go send your telegram.
oh no, he's about
Your
to
man?
get kidnapped, isn't he?
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. So make a quick roll for me, or
Make a
and anybody
notice
else who's
roll.
going out on the platform.
Just say, does Malcolm want somebody to watch his back?
yes.
I am awake. I can go take a look. Go out onto the
All right,
platform.
very
now.
well.
Bring a lightning.
Three.
gun.
All right, a 3.
Everybody bring a lightning.
And how about
gun.
you, Howard?
Yeah, out on the platform.
No,
You all
roll. I
dis-
mean,
you all
Oh,
disappear.
oh, right. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going out there.
This is when we see
Um,
Roberoff and about 14 stormtroopers coming up the platform.
Yeah,
Why
you
are
hear
you here? It is time for you
You
to
know,
die.
the front of the
Eight.
train disintegrates. 8.
The guys just descend from the sky.
rolling high
Okay.
today.
Okay. So you are oblivious. There's a ton of people on this platform. I mean, a ton, and it's like 6:49. So, Malcolm, on your way to the telegraph station, however, though, you do see two things of interest. One is Bentley Burnham exits the train with his luggage,
Ooh.
Oh, he's done.
and he crosses the platform heading for the exit.
Tackle.
And the other thing of interest that you see is kind of hard to miss. Hang on just one moment here.
Not going to be good.
It's a 14-foot demon in the tracks.
Well, it's the black stagecoach with like the black shutters and everything drives up, and some kind of hunched over guys come out and take what looks like a coffin and puts it in.
Oh,
It's Spencer
train.
Bickham and his new friend.
Okay.
Is that a? That's the largest ventriloquism act I've ever seen.
This is the weirdest
he's
picture.
no dummy.
Yeah.
Okay, this will do. Okay. I will open these with Perfect View.
Nothing but.
That's right. Uno,
Un, deux, trois.
dos. Okay. All right. You see a girl in a bright purple gown of some kind with a vibrant red dragon on it. And she looks
Jeez, out of place.
Howard does
Yeah.
it because he rolled.
it's like that kind of bright purple and bright colors on it.
She look like her.
I would like to say yes, but I had previously selected something.
She's looking for her husband, Dr. Fu.
She looks like that.
Oh. Like white like that and
Yep.
everything?
Yep. So Nigel, maybe if you were there, you may have seen something like that before.
Well, I meant to ask Malcolm if he wanted my company, but I didn't get her.
We can have you be there.
In a sense. Well,
And
does
Malcolm probably
want me
just-
there?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Takes you by
Okay.
the shoulder and just
No.
turns you around, you know?
Okay.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Beavis.
And she walks very delicately to the train in the company of several porters who have quite a bit of luggage that they move on to the train, and then she is escorted to car number 3.
And for Chuck, who isn't here, who may listen to this later, it was Chinese woman with kind of like the China doll white makeup and kind of a flowery Asian.
Yeah. So
pattern dress.
Nigel, make a quick roll.
Yeah,
sure.
I
I
would
thought it
step
was
up.
something Japanese, but
Exactly.
Japanese was my take.
whatever. Japanese,
Well,
whatever.
John's
Oh,
racist, so
I don't know. I thought
Seven.
it was Chinese.
yeah,
7. Yep. Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel is like, that's a Japanese
I'm not
lady.
as traveled as you guys, so
Mhm.
I live in the United States.
and more racist.
And yeah, and I'm white. I'm a white man, so
As in like a proper Japanese lady.
right.
And she is escorted onto the train. And those are the 2 things of note.
Nice. There are things of note now. Good.
That was definitely something to note. It's kind of hard to miss.
Right. I didn't need a 3. I
Yeah,
wasted
you
it.
did not need a 3 for that. But seeing Bentley Burnham, he
Right.
was definitely trying to not be noticed.
Oh, okay.
Like he was, you guys hadn't seen him all day. And then it was like he was out the door of the train across the platform with his bags in hand, no porters helping him.
The fact that he met with Metcalf is distressing to me. Metcalf. Keep calling him Metcalf.
His name
Yeah,
would be
next-
less sinister if it was Hieronymus Metcalf.
Yeah.
Next week we'll find out if he was meant to get off here, or if he ducked out early.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna.
But we're not going
Hit
to do
the
that now.
hay.
We should.
No.
Yeah, we should get out tonight.
Yeah, while we can.
So,
All right.
game-
Strong finish. There we
Yeah.
go.
yeah. Thanks. I'm sorry. Sorry I was late, but that's what
No
happens when
worries.
you're.
No worries.
That's what happens when your continuous integration pipeline is destroyed by a bad upgrade.
Oh,
So-
no.
Well, I mean,
yikes.
it wasn't. No, it's a VM, and I took a snapshot first. So
Good, good,
I was
good.
able to take it right back, but
Mhm.
I was trying to. I had a maintenance window planned earlier, and I was trying to finish the job. So I tried a few times with different. I didn't figure it out. So so anyway,
Oh my goodness.
that's it. It's
Well, we will
one
pick
of
up.
those things.
We'll pick up next week with pulling out of Central Bahnhof on the way to Budapest.
Right.
So you guys
All
have
right.
gotten, almost 2/3 of the way through your Orient Express journey.
We are not dead yet.
Someone was elbowed.
Someone was elbowed. You've heard
Wizardry was witnessed.
wizardry was witnessed. You've now seen people leaving the train, people getting onto the train. There's been a surprising number of things going on. Oh, and about now, Henri, is about when you're supposed to be meeting Eileen.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
Italian
dinner
chick.
date.
So yeah, so let me just do that while we're at it.
You should invite Spencer with you.
No.
As a chaperone.
Have you met my friend Spencer? Oh wait, that's not the name we were using.
So you remember what Eileen looks like, right?
Yes.
And how I had previously described her to you. So you go and you approach and you give a proper. You're dressed for dinner in your white tie and tails.
If that's appropriate, yes.
That is absolutely appropriate. And
He's wearing his wife beater and tails.
right, and you
Yo, what's up?
knock on the door,
Yes.
and Eileen greets you.
Damn. I'm like, why don't we just stay here, baby?
We can skip the dinner.
Have had dessert.
Yeah,
All right.
as they say, she cleans up nicely.
Oh, and I okay. That's not unexpected. I was not expecting that.
So that's
That's awkward.
Yeah. So any concerns you may have had about her being of a ladylike family?
I don't know. This is not good. I'm gonna have to throw her off the back of the train.
And she right, and she's right, and she says, Good evening, Monsieur Marcel. Of course, she says it in perfect, fluent French. And she extends her hand.
Okay. Yeah,
Lick it.
exactly. I do
Yeah,
that.
you lick it.
I do that. Oh, I yawn. I yawn.
Yeah. You extend your hand, I thought that's what we were doing, So we'll leave it.
Yeah,
leave it
right there.
Yeah.
Believe it to
as-
where they, yeah, because otherwise they're just gonna walk into the dining car. And the other 11 of us will be there. We'll just stand up and start to clap.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Thanks so much.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Good night.
All right, guys. See ya.
Yep. Thanks a lot.